Hi, if you want to watch exclusive content with hot girls that you won't watch on YouTube, namely where Naruto roasts Kushina and Mikoto and many other hot girls without restrictions, then visit my Boosty channel at the link in the description. Like, I always wanted to hear that from a guy. What was he thinking? That I'd just throw myself at him? Naruto, however, looked confused, although it didn't affect his appetite. Why did I go there? I thought he wanted to fight. Without witnesses. Or at least a trap. I thought he hated me. You know? Naruto's face showed surprise. Hey Sasuke? Have you finished your drink yet? Sasuke looked down at the paper cup of cola, the soda running down his hand, the cup itself clutched in his fist. What's this guy's name, please? Sasuke asked, letting go of the innocent glass, ignoring the question. Sai. Naruto answered, not noticing the trick, moving the French fries towards himself. It was easy to find Sai. He studied in the same class with them, although he transferred here only at the beginning of this year. He usually had lunch at school, in the room where the lesson had been held before. That's where Sasuke found him. I thought you'd come. Sai turned around, surprise etched on his face as Sasuke, in a split second, crossed the line separating them, grabbed the collar of his school uniform, and yanking Sai up to stand up, struck him. You know, Sasuke is a very calm child. I'm already 16, I'm not a child. It's hard to even get a smile out of him. Itachi ignored this exclamation. I think this is some kind of misunderstanding. I'm sure he's not to blame. It happened during lunch break right in the classroom in front of at least half of your classmates. Moreover, your brother doesn't have a scratch on him, and according to the students, he attacked another boy without saying a word. Sasuke is going through a difficult time. Are there any problems at home? The principal asked, looking into Itachi's eyes. No. No more than usual. Maybe you should stop talking like I'm not here. Sasuke interjected again. You see, he's going through puberty, hormones, Itachi said. I have 4 classes of these kids with hormones and adolescence. They are in no hurry to beat each other up without reason. Your brother himself doesn't explain anything. It's a pity that none of the parents could come. I hope you'll tell them everything and they'll take action. They left the office together. Since I'm here and I asked for time off anyway, I can give you a ride home, Itachi suggested, trying to take his younger brother's backpack, just like in childhood. Sasuke wriggled out of it and took a few steps away. No need. I'm going with a friend. I can give you both a ride. Sasuke waved it off, heading further down the corridor. Naruto was waiting for him in the classroom, talking to Kiba, who was supposed to be on duty that day. When Sasuke appeared, Uzumaki said goodbye with a smile, approaching his friend himself, nodding towards the door. Sasuke didn't know what to say. It seemed to him that Naruto had figured it out, and was just waiting for him to talk, and that this was the last time they would walk home together like this. You don't ask anything. Sasuke started the conversation already at the gate. Why? If you need to, you'll tell me everything yourself, Naruto waved it off lightly. And if you hit me, then there was a reason. I trust you, we are friends after all. The last phrase cut painfully. If Naruto knew the truth, he wouldn't be so open. He would probably be scared. I just hope. Sasuke was shot. He almost tripped, stopped, finding himself behind Naruto, so he could not see his face. I hope, Naruto repeated, turning around. He was smiling. That you're not doing this because of me. No, of course not. Sasuke lied without even hesitating. I had my reasons. Okay. Naruto's smile seemed to brighten. I don't want you getting involved in my troubles. I'll handle it myself, okay? Oh, if only Sasuke could just step aside and let Naruto figure this out on his own. Sasuke had long wondered what Naruto would say to such a confession from a guy. He had played this situation over in his head so often. The version in which Naruto would answer, "Really? I've liked you for so long too," could be called the craziest fantasy. He knew Uzumaki too well to understand that it was impossible. Naruto was so enthusiastic about how cute this Sakura-chan was that there were no options left. Naruto was straight. All Sasuke could do with his confession was ruin their friendship. It was enough to look at Sai to understand what kind of attitude he would have. In the morning, a neatly folded piece of paper, covered in calligraphy, was found in the locker with his spare shoes. Sai said that he was expecting Sasuke at lunch behind the school. The Uchiha folded the paper and shoved it into the corner of the locker before Naruto noticed. Sai waited alone, and he didn't look at all menacing, especially considering his cheek was covered with a bandage. Decided to take revenge? But Sasuke looked, it must be said, arrogant. He barely knew Sai, but he already hated him. So much so that he would not be against finishing him off again in the fight they had started. But Sai had not planned anything like that. "You're in a convenient position, Sasuke-kun," the enemy said calmly. "You remain his closest friend, and yet you treat him in a completely unfriendly manner. Very convenient. Who knows, he might suddenly decide one day that he doesn't know how to kiss and needs practice. Or he might get so drunk that he won't remember anything in the morning." Sasuke was silent. It took all his strength to keep from shaking. Someone had figured out what he had been hiding for a long time. It was annoying and frightening at the same time. What if Naruto would understand what was going on? "I'm not going to start a war with you." Sai shook his head. "Or punch you in the face in return. I'm presenting you with a fait accompli. I'll be with Naruto. Because someone like you won't bring anything good to his life. You'll turn it into hell. Just because of your character. As soon as you have rights over him, you'll start slowly killing him, breaking him, adapting him to yourself. That's why it's good that I showed up at this school. I think that Naruto-kun, of all people, deserves to be happy." Sasuke chuckled. "With you? Don't make me laugh." And realizing that nothing more should happen, he turned around and left. "What are you doing here?" Sasuke raised his head. "I smoke." Suigetsu shrugged, sitting down on the steps of the fire escape. "And you?" "The same." Sasuke lied without thinking. Suigetsu shrugged, pulled a pack of cigarettes out of his pocket, took one out with his teeth and handed it to Sasuke. He thought for a moment, but took the cigarette. Sasuke had never had to smoke seriously in his life, although now seemed like the perfect time. "What happened?" Suigetsu asked, lighting a cigarette and handing the lighter to Sasuke. "No, what are you saying? Everything is as usual, my life is complete shit." "Then welcome to the club." Suigetsu shrugged. "The worst thing is not even that he is right, but that I don't care. You can't love like that blindly, selfishly. Not caring about your own and other people's desires, including hers. Isn't love a bright feeling? Am I not supposed to perform feats and protect her from drug addicts in a dark alley, walking her home? Can even the Ice Queen's heart be melted?" Suigetsu chuckled, holding a cigarette between his sharp teeth. "Who is this lucky girl?" Sasuke ignored the question. "Instead, when she says that I will turn her life into the same shit as mine, I think, that's bad, of course, but I can't let someone else turn her life into shit. Is that love? Shouldn't I want her to be happy with whoever she chooses and protect her from my encroachments in advance, knowing that it won't lead to anything good? You can't love like that. So that your insides turn inside out with the desire to touch. Instead of wanting her to be happy with anyone, I think about how I won't let anyone else be near her." "You're a real villain." Suigetsu whistled. "If you're not going to light up, give me the lighter." Sasuke looked at the lighter. After a few seconds of hesitation, he moved the cigarette to his mouth and brought the flame to it. He had never smoked before. He tried to swallow the smoke like water, but his nasopharynx immediately began to sting, and an unpleasant sensation appeared. As if the smoke had settled there in black, tarry flakes. He took a second drag by inertia and finally put out the cigarette he had just started on the steps of the iron staircase. That day, Sasuke made two very important decisions for himself. He would not give Naruto to anyone and he would not smoke anymore. "Oh, and I thought you were late." Entering the locker room, Naruto immediately headed to his locker. Sasuke had already changed by this time. "Will you wait for me?" Sasuke was immediately torn between two contradictions, the desire to stay and the need to get out of the locker room before he was found out. Common sense won out until Sai slipped past him into the locker room and began to calmly open his locker. Naruto, who had begun to unbutton his school uniform, immediately stopped, glancing warily at Sai. Sasuke pulled a bench towards himself, sitting down where he had been standing, thereby blocking the entrance. This action did not go unnoticed. Naruto turned a surprised look to his friend. Sasuke-kun is afraid that when we are alone, I will start to pester you, or even attack you and rape you. But I can assure you that nothing like that was even in my thoughts, and Sasuke-kun simply watched some porn. Sai explained in an almost respectful tone. The next second, the Uchiha appeared behind him. Sasuke! Naruto called out, stopping him. He looked unhappy. He didn't like it when people stood up for him. Naruto thought it made him pathetic. He preferred to deal with problems on his own. Sai turned around, and Sasuke suddenly realized, what if Sai said now? By the way, Sasuke-kun also loves you and that's why he's insanely jealous. It would equalize their chances and at the same time prevent Sasuke from getting closer. It would ruin their friendship. Sai was silent. Sasuke's blood rushed to his head. He wouldn't be able to stop it if Sai suddenly decided to say something. It was quite logical. Sasuke would have done exactly the same in his place, and there would have been only one reason to remain silent: the possibility of manipulating him later with the help of this secret. He began to shake. Unable to withstand the tension, he jumped out of the locker room without putting the bench back in place. Naruto was at a loss, but then turned his angry gaze to Sai. What did you do? Nothing. Sai spread his hands. It's just that Sasuke-kun seems very nervous. Sasuke? A good joke, Naruto snorted without a smile. They had known each other since they were 12, since Naruto had transferred to their class. Sasuke found their story to be quite banal, including his love for his best friend. The most unpleasant thing was that there was no one to even open up to. He had to keep everything to himself. No one to consult with, no one to ask for support or help. You're skipping school, Itachi stated, stopping at the threshold of his brother's room. Sasuke was lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling, and didn't even turn his head. He was still wearing his tracksuit. Did something happen? First there was this fight, and now you're skipping school, sitting at home in your tracksuit. If you didn't want to go to gym, why did you change your clothes? Is something going on? Is someone bullying you? Are you in trouble? Get out of my room, Sasuke said through gritted teeth. You know, Itachi said regretfully. You're lucky that when they called from school, I picked up the phone. But I might not be so kind and tell my parents. I don't care, Sasuke said, turning his back to his brother. Itachi sighed loudly and closed the door behind him. In the morning, Sasuke's classmate showed up on the Uchiha's doorstep, a fair-haired guy whom Itachi knew only as his younger brother's best friend, but he could only remember his name after a few seconds of thought. So Sasuke is going there, or has he decided to skip the whole day now? Naruto asked impatiently. Itachi nodded. He'll be down soon. Will you come in? I'll wait here. Naruto had already turned around. Come in. We have something to talk about. The Uchiha's living room was fairly standard, meaning it had a coffee table and a couch. Not that Naruto was often in other people's houses. But in the movies, living rooms always had a coffee table and a couch. Don't you think Sasuke is acting strange? He started with Itachi's case. Naruto nodded, either confirming or allowing him to continue. I could write it all off as adolescence, like parents do, but I think it's something else. It seems Sasuke fell in love. Nothing else could change him so drastically, and he's just the right age. Fell in love? Naruto barely held back his laughter. Sasuke is called the Snow Queen behind his back. Anyone can fall in love, but not Uchiha Sasuke. Any other suggestions? Maybe puberty? Naruto suggested. Itachi still didn't fully understand whether they were making fun of him or seriously considering this, when he heard footsteps, and Sasuke came out from the second floor onto the stairs. Seeing him, Naruto burst out laughing. The Uchiha put on a tracksuit, because yesterday he left his uniform in a drawer, and now they had to be swapped. No, Sasuke, of course, I often skip gym too, but at least I had the sense not to change my clothes, Naruto said after laughing. Shut up already, idiot, Sasuke said, offended but good-natured. Itachi didn't take his eyes off his younger brother. Brother thinks you're in love, Naruto said on the way to school. Sasuke almost tripped again, but managed to stay on his feet. Since when? But you've been acting strange lately. Naruto shrugged. I'm inclined to think he's right. Sasuke turned away, feeling his cheeks burn. So who is this lucky girl? Naruto asked carefree. How he wanted to grab her by the shoulders, press her against the fence, and, looking into her eyes, answer you, and then kiss her so that she wouldn't get punched in the face later. Or get a device that could rewind time if necessary. I'm telling you, he was wrong. Sasuke swallowed. To be honest, I feel hurt. Naruto continued in a sadder tone. I'm your best friend, aren't I? So why did you hide it from me? I thought we all trusted each other, but then. It's not fair. He finished in a very quiet voice. Sometimes it seemed to Sasuke that the world for his friend was divided not into good and bad, but into fair and unfair. In a sense, Naruto was right. If Sasuke had fallen in love with anyone else, his best friend would have known about it first. Such was the level of trust that had developed between them. And Naruto now, probably, should have felt some alienation. Sasuke felt uneasy. For the first time in his life he felt that he could lose their friendship. I'm telling you, I don't love anyone. Sasuke tried to insist. Are you lying to me? Naruto asked seriously, stopping and looking into his eyes. Sasuke couldn't resist and looked away. This is my business, I have to figure it out myself. And how will it stop being yours if you tell me? Naruto frowned. I thought you trusted me. Or are you afraid that I'll tell someone? Naruto, if you're not a woman, do you really need to know everything about me? Sasuke couldn't help but ask. It seemed to hurt even more, because Naruto took a step back and said, Baba? Well, after which he ran off in the direction of the school. Sasuke had to go on alone from there. Are you skipping school? Naruto opened his eyes. Sai was standing above him and smiling. Uzumaki jumped up, intending to get up, but Sai sat down next to him. It wasn't like Naruto was on the roof often. Today was only the third time, but here, he knew for sure, Sasuke wouldn't look for him. Are you afraid of me? Sai asked, as if talking to a child. Me? No way. Naruto frowned, pulling his knees to his face. Then why did you leave? Well, you're gay. Naruto snorted. So what? Will I pounce right away? I don't understand why people with a different orientation are immediately considered abnormal. Right away. You're gay, what if you fall in love? Or, what if you pounce? After all, if a girl confessed to you, would you be afraid that she would pounce? Naruto thought about it. He realized that he wouldn't be afraid, but he would fully expect an attempt to kiss or touch her. He certainly wouldn't move away from her. You probably have a hard time making friends, Naruto suggested, so as not to answer the question. I have no friends. Sai shook his head. Where will you find a person now who wouldn't be ashamed of a gay friend? Who would be able not to abandon and value this friendship so much that he would endure everything? And not be afraid that he would fall in love. Naruto silently thought that he probably could have, if it weren't for the fact of that damn confession. You think now that you could. But you didn't, we're not friends. Naruto remembered their meeting and subsequent communication, he suggested. Or maybe it's because of your unpleasant character? Sai laughed quietly and rather politely, turning the reproach into a joke, but answered. Maybe. So why are you skipping school? Naruto thought about it, but there was no one else to talk to, and Sai had now opened his soul to him so much that he didn't want to remain in debt. I don't want to see Sasuke. Did you have a fight? Well, how can I say, Naruto thought, raised his head to the sky. I feel betrayed. But only I feel this, and even if I wanted to, I couldn't explain to you what the betrayal is. Because, it's complicated. Then what is the reason? Naruto shook his head. If I say it out loud, it turns out to be such stupidity. As long as it is in me, as long as I only feel it, it really does make sense, even if only for me. I'd rather remain silent than agree with someone else's stupidity, adapting to the world around me and its vision of me. Of course, I wanted to explain. No, not Sai Sasuke. To say, why are you like this, huh? I dug out all the most intimate things from my soul for you, even told you about my parents, and you refused to tell me such a trifle. But that's stupid. A person's secrets are his secrets, and only he decides whether to tell them or not, and no obligations or someone else's trust can force him to. But to Naruto, it still didn't seem fair. Sasuke finally found him waited for him at the school exit. It was useless to run away again, and he didn't want to explain either, but Naruto stopped. This is Sakura. Sasuke immediately started with the matter at hand, and they both understood what he was talking about. Hirono Sakura, the same Sakura-chan you spoke of so admiringly. Now do you understand why I didn't tell you anything? Yes, Naruto understood. He stood there, looking at his feet, realizing that there were things that were better left unseen and unacknowledged. It was stupid to look for someone to blame, because in the end the circle still closed on him, on Naruto. I don't want to ruin our friendship, Sasuke continued. I'm not going to fight for her. For me, the words, love and I, are incompatible. It's not for me to take care of someone, call them sunshine, wish them good night, and endure these snotty. How cute you are, Sasuke-kun. I give in, Naruto. You are the one who can make her happy. I will only ruin her life. Besides, you are my best friend. Girls come and go, a friend remains. It took about an hour to come up with and write down this entire speech. Half an hour to learn it so it sounded nice. At the moment, Sasuke was extremely pleased with himself, and it took a lot of effort to maintain the sorrowful face of a martyr for friendship. Arriving home in the evening, Sasuke felt like a squeezed lemon. As if he had survived a great battle today, and victory was still as far away as China on bare feet. He went up the stairs, threw his bag on the table, and hadn't even had time to sit down on the chair next to him when his older brother appeared in the doorway. Itachi rarely lost his composure, but now he looked unusually agitated. He slammed the door behind him and glared at his younger brother with a look that Sasuke was hesitant to call crazy or crazed. Your mother, Sasuke, what the hell with the guy? Itachi blurted out in a tone his younger brother had never heard before. Sasuke approached the question with all seriousness. He locked the door and asked too calmly, Are your parents home? No, we haven't returned yet. What the hell? How do you know? Sasuke asked in a loud voice. You blushed like a schoolgirl when you saw him. How could I not understand? And did he understand? What do you think? You want me to discuss your boyfriend with you? Itachi asked, as if it were an insult. Sasuke would have corrected him if it hadn't sounded so sweetly. Your boyfriend. I can't understand all day how? Where did my parents and I go wrong? Is it because you only have an older brother? Shouldn't we have taken baths together when we were kids? Shouldn't we have let you into my bed when you had nightmares at night? Or did you not have enough motherly care? I was 8 years old then. Are you saying I didn't think about it? It's easy for me, right? Did I create this problem for myself? That I wanted to have some adventures instead of falling in love with some girl, so that if she refused, oh well, and not seeing her wouldn't hurt as much as with the only person closest to me? And that there was no one to tell. It's one thing to say, I fell in love. Another, I'm gay and fell in love with a guy. Sasuke fell silent. Something inside him began to choke him. A lump came to his throat. He didn't want to cry. Itachi was also silent, digesting the information. Now he saw the situation from a completely different side, the side of his younger brother. He wanted to calm him down, hug him. How long have you understood? Itachi asked, already more like his usual tone. Sasuke did not look him in the eyes. He seemed to have withdrawn, although, as if hypnotized, he answered. About 2 months ago. I mean, it started earlier, and then he suddenly started talking about this, about Sakura. At first, I thought it was friendly jealousy. He'd start dating a girl, he'd have less time for me. Then these dreams. Then I realized that I wanted to be in the place of this girl he'd be dating. Itachi, for the first time in my life, I seriously regretted not being a girl. So he's straight? Itachi asked with poorly concealed relief. Sasuke, don't worry. At your age, teenagers are prone to bisexuality. The main thing now is not to make a mistake. It will pass when you grow up. You'll find yourself a girlfriend, start a family. Do you think it's that simple? Sasuke licked his dry lips. Do you think I just fell in love with him? This man knows me better than anyone. I have no one closer and will never have one. Every second person has a childhood friend who even knows how old they were when they wet their bed, but I've never heard of anyone being in love with that childhood friend. Itachi started getting irritated again. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because I knew you wouldn't understand. This time Sasuke lost his temper, raising his voice. What are you going to say? It's okay, brother, it'll pass when you grow up. What are you going to start? What kind of grief is this in the family? The youngest son is gay. And who are you like if there were no faggots in the family before? Now Sasuke looked into his eyes, and Itachi didn't know what to say. Only now did he understand. Instead of helping, supporting his brother, who was already having a hard time, he said stupid things. Not like that. He needed to sit and think, he couldn't act on emotions. He wanted to rewind time and instead of all this nonsense say, "Trust me. I'll be there, I'll help, we'll somehow survive." At least he had enough sense not to tell his parents. Naruto had already gone to bed when his cell phone on the nightstand buzzed in his ear. There was only one person who could be calling him this late. Yes? Everything okay? Sasuke asked in a tired, as Naruto thought, voice. Uzumaki hesitated a little with his answer, and responded without enthusiasm. Yes. Sorry, I acted like a complete idiot. Nothing. You should have known. Sasuke's voice was heard. And I felt uneasy too. I feel much better now. I was just afraid that it would affect our friendship. No, what are you saying? Naruto immediately assured. That's stupid. I don't want to lose our friendship because of this. Everything will be fine, Sasuke. Thank you for telling me. Sasuke was silent. He didn't know what else to say, but he didn't want to hang up. Well, Naruto was the first to break the silence. Until tomorrow then. Yes, see you tomorrow. Sasuke responded automatically. Good night. And to you. Good night, and already at the disconnected signal, he confessed in a trembling voice, "You know, I love you." Thoughts. Rhymes. The light remained, the sound remained. The rest was erased. They are going out. Numbers. I called just to hear a voice. In his fantasies, Naruto was no more determined than a schoolgirl on her first time at that moment, blushing, not knowing what to do. He started unbuttoning the buttons on his school uniform shirt, stopped at the third, came to his senses, and moved on to Sasuke's shirt. In his dreams, Naruto was melting from the touch, trembling and throwing his head back, burying his fingers in the black hair on the back of his head, and then Sasuke forbade himself to dream further. His whole body was already burning from such similar fantasies. It wasn't that he didn't want to get a release, Sasuke simply couldn't imagine how he would be able to communicate normally with Naruto after this. Despite the fact that Itachi had learned about his brother's love for his classmate, Sasuke was no longer going to pour out his soul to him. Itachi did not understand. After thinking about it, Sasuke came to the conclusion that only Sai would fully understand him in this situation. However, the Uchiha was not going to talk to him either. It turned out that, although two people were already privy to his secret, Sasuke still remained alone in it. And this could not help but irritate. Sai was a little surprised when Naruto approached him himself in a half-empty classroom at the beginning of the day. I thought about your words, Naruto began with all seriousness. I think it would be too bold to hope that this is about my confession. Sai decided to support the conversation, putting the book aside. Where is Sasuke-kun? Don't you usually come together? He has business. Naruto waved it off without going into details, returning to the original topic of conversation. A girl will never be left alone with a guy, regardless of whether he confessed to her or not. Likewise, a guy won't risk being left alone with a gay guy unless he's sure that he himself isn't a fragile girl and can hit her if necessary. But you know. Naruto paused, looking as if he was telling something amazing, unusual. A girl will calmly be left alone with a guy if she's sure that he's gay. Sai, I want to say, maybe you were looking for friends in the wrong place? And he froze, seemingly not even breathing, looking into Sai's eyes as if he were looking into a test tube into which he had just added litmus to acid. Sai laughed softly, no longer knowing how to react to such childish behavior. And most importantly, Naruto really did want to help. He was not the type to just throw someone's complaint out of his head and forget about it. In his world, what Sai had said yesterday was dishonest, and he probably really had been racking his brains all night trying to figure out how to fix it. And they couldn't even be called friends. I see you've gotten along already. Sasuke didn't sit down, but simply stood behind Naruto, folding his arms across his chest. Are you jealous? Sai immediately smiled. I'm worried about Naruto. Sasuke responded calmly, this time not giving himself away. But nothing will happen to me. Naruto stood up. It's just that Sasuke-kun and I had some disagreements, so he doesn't like that we communicate. Sai returned to the book again. I don't remember letting you call me by my name. Sasuke reminded him in a threatening tone. Naruto was starting to think that this was all going to end in a fight when the bell rang for classes to start. Sasuke gave Sai a final death glare and sat down in his seat. He irritates me, Sasuke said himself at lunch, knowing Naruto wouldn't ask. That smile of his. The teasing, the hints. It's annoying. I can't help it. Still, it was hard to get you off balance before, Naruto said with his mouth full. Deciding to take part in the conversation, but not having time to finish chewing his lunch. Adolescence? Sasuke suggested, still twirling the tomato juice in his hands. He thought about when people meet, have lunch together or cook for each other. Of course, Naruto often stole some of the ingredients from his bento, but it still wasn't the same. He wanted to feed him with chopsticks, so that, looking defiantly into his eyes, Naruto, a little more thoroughly than he should have, licked the rice off them, holding the tips in his mouth. You know, I think she likes you, Naruto said out of the blue, washing down another glass of milk. Sasuke didn't even immediately understand what he was talking about. It seems to me that you are starting to meddle in things that are none of your business. I want to help. Naruto shrugged, not taking offense. Sasuke has always been like this. Don't you like her? What will I do if she doesn't love me? But when she sees you, she's like a completely different person, like she's glowing from within. You're strange. Sasuke put down his chopsticks. He didn't feel like eating anymore. Don't you want her just for yourself? Wouldn't it hurt to see her with someone else? It hurts. Naruto nodded. But I wish her happiness. Not with me, and that's fine. Better to be happy not with me than unhappy with me. Suigetsu was already finishing his cigarette when Sasuke came to the fire escape. Smoking again? The sharp-toothed one grinned. No, to say, Uchiha said clearly, without embarrassment. Even if she finds someone with whom she will be happy, unlike me, I will still do everything to separate them as soon as possible. Of course, you're our negative character, Suigetsu shrugged. Just stop coming here, otherwise they'll catch you and tell your parents that you smoke too. And there was so much more I wanted to say. That I called Sakura also because she had been pining for him since she was 12, Sasuke, let alone Naruto. And to add that I didn't give a damn about Haruno's love even now, when I know what this unrequited love is. Sasuke tried to keep his room tidy, although he never had guests except Naruto. There was also a minimum of furniture and no posters on the walls. Sasuke thought that it was rather stupid and childish to spoil the walls with this, or maybe it was because he was not particularly interested in anything. Sasuke always seemed to himself incapable of strong feelings. Mom had been knocking before entering the room since Sasuke was 14, although she usually found her son studying. There's a phone call for you. Mom called in a sing-song voice. I had to go downstairs to the living room to get the phone. Yes. Sasuke, hi. Naruto blurted out quickly on the other end of the line. Listen, here's the deal. My pipe burst, I turned off the water. It's late, the plumber won't be here until tomorrow, and I don't even have enough water to put on a kettle. Can you take me in for the night? Of course. Sasuke agreed without thinking, but immediately corrected himself. Wait, I'll ask Mom. Now, at the age of 16, for a few minutes Sasuke seemed to have turned back into a carefree 7-year-old child, running into the kitchen and asking. A pipe burst at Naruto's house, the water was turned off, he can spend the night with us, right? Yes, of course. Mom agreed. No! Itachi was late. Mom turned around in surprise. What kind of news is this? Sasuke seemed to have run back to the phone before his brother could even object. The family waited for Naruto to arrive before sitting down to dinner. Sasuke closed his eyes and could imagine that he had brought Naruto to meet his parents, like he usually brought his brides. Overall, Sasuke felt like a happy man and didn't immediately notice how uncomfortable Naruto was at a family dinner. Uzumaki simply didn't know how to act. His father was, as always, reserved. Itachi was wary, and most of the conversation was about Naruto and his mother. Sasuke had suddenly returned from the land of his dreams to sinful earth. His parents, of course, would react more sharply than his brother. Itachi had his own life, and Sasuke had his own. His parents raised him, and this is what came out of it. His mother would probably cry. His father would simply not allow it. But the main thing, they would hate Naruto. His mother didn't make a bed for him on the floor or offer him the couch in the living room. She gave Naruto an extra blanket, saying that Sasuke's bed was big enough for both of them to sleep on. She still treated her youngest son like a child. Sasuke felt like his heart wouldn't be able to withstand such a fast rhythm, and would die in convulsions. Having finally sent his mother out of his room, Sasuke, closing the door, realized that they were now alone. The strongest desire now was to lock the door with a key. "Your mom cooks so well." Naruto stretched, sitting down on the unfolded bed. He was wearing an orange soft jumper and light jeans. Of course, it wasn't a school uniform, but Sasuke was completely fine with that. If only he could come up to him now, kiss him, throw him down on this bed without fear of getting punched in the face. And lock this damn door. Sasuke thought sadly just as that very ill-fated door swung open, letting Itachi in. "I dropped by to see how you were settling in," the older brother informed apologetically, entering the room and sitting down on the computer chair. Sasuke closed the door again without enthusiasm. The moment was mercilessly ruined by his brother. "Naruto and I have already met," Itachi continued in a tone as if he was saying. "We've been friends for a long time, we've even had the chance to discuss some things with him." Sasuke was wary. More than anything, he wanted to take Itachi out of the room right on this chair. "Naruto, my brother hasn't told you who he's in love with yet," I said. Uzumaki nodded reservedly. "But it seems to me that discussing this." "Said?" Itachi asked again, moving his chair closer. "And how did you react?" "Well, I was a little surprised and—" "Get out of my room!" Sasuke turned the chair with his older brother towards the door and pushed. "Well, I didn't come to see you," Itachi tried to object. "Look," I said. Sasuke crossed his arms over his chest. "I don't see Naruto burning with desire to communicate with you." There was nothing to say in response to this, so he had to leave, silently promising to talk to his brother later without witnesses. As soon as the door closed, Sasuke sighed with relief. "He's strange. But he's probably a good brother, since he's so worried about you." Naruto smiled. "Sorry." Sasuke sat down next to me. "You probably don't feel comfortable here." "No," Uzumaki hastened to assure him. "Everything is fine. It's just a little unusual. Unaccustomed. Sometimes I feel awkward simply because I don't know how to act. But I like it here. This is your home, after all, this is what you live for. Do you want?" Sasuke offered hesitantly. "I could come spend the night at your place sometime?" "I think that would be fair," Naruto agreed. "But everything is boring with me, a one-room apartment, small. Noisy neighbors. The only food is ramen, so think 3 times whether you need it." "As if I haven't been to your house," Uchiha shrugged. "But you have a PSP." For some time they talked about all sorts of nonsense before going to bed. Naruto dreamed, voicing his fantasies, and Sasuke wondered where he would be when Uzumaki's dreams came true. Would he be able to be there? Because now for Sasuke this was the only desire. "It would be great to persuade them to give us one room in the dorm," Sasuke said quietly. "I don't know how many people usually fit in there, but when it's someone you know, it's better." He listened. Naruto seemed to have fallen asleep to his monotonous mumbling, wrapped in a warm blanket, lying on his side, facing Sasuke. He fell asleep, feeling safe. Naruto's face was relaxed, his lips slightly parted, his pupils twitching under his eyelids. It seemed he was already dreaming something. Sasuke didn't want to let him go to a small apartment with noisy neighbors and shelves full of ramen. He wanted to leave him here, like an abandoned puppy. "Mom, can the puppy live with us?" Not that he didn't care before. Naruto was doing just fine. He could do his own laundry, although he remembered this duty when the only thing left of clean laundry was a curtain. Naruto got used to it and never complained. Sometimes it seemed like he liked this life, but there are things that can be tolerated when you are a friend, and which become unbearable when you love. Sasuke carefully untangled his hand from the blanket and placed it across Naruto, carefully, holding it so that if anything happened, he could immediately pull it away. Uzumaki did not wake up, continuing to breathe evenly. For some time, Uchiha looked at his face, while the thoughts in his head changed course. Sasuke knew for sure Naruto had never kissed before. Uchiha, however, had never had the chance to do so either, and he never attached any importance to it. But now he suddenly wanted his first kiss, and with Naruto. Sasuke understood that this was again nothing more than the wildest fantasies that would never come true, just like Uzumaki unbuttoning the buttons of his school uniform. Naruto was close and distant at the same time. You could come to him for a sleepover, but you couldn't hold his hand while walking. You could be his best friend, but not his boyfriend. You couldn't change that, even if you put on a dress, but just one careless step and you could lose everything. Sasuke thought that Naruto was asleep and wouldn't feel it if he was kissed. Let him think that the next kiss was his first. But you seem to understand that the person is sleeping, but it seems that if you move closer, cross that line after which you can no longer pretend that nothing is happening, Naruto will open his eyes, get scared, recall. But it was tempting. Impunity. Of course, you could imagine a dark hallway of some party, or an evening by some pond with fireflies, or fireworks at a festival, or just a confused, upset Naruto who could be calmed down. But Sasuke understood that none of this would happen. Naruto would never voluntarily allow this to happen, which meant there would be no hallways, no fireflies, no fireworks. There would be a dark room, a familiar soft bed, and an unsuspecting, peacefully sleeping Naruto who came to spend the night. Sasuke turned away. He felt ashamed. The whole situation suddenly appeared from the other side. Naruto fell asleep because he trusted him completely and utterly. Because he felt safe that way. Sasuke couldn't betray such trust, play on it. He closed his eyes and tried to fall asleep. It didn't work, primarily because his heart was pounding wildly. He wanted to turn around again and make sure that Naruto was here, in his bed, a few centimeters away from him, so close that if he craned his neck, he could touch his cheek, his eyelashes with his lips. Sasuke cursed silently. An inner voice told him that he just needed to do it, so that he wouldn't have to think. Just do it and that's it, no one would know anything. What if he wanted more? Sasuke mentally countered. What if he wanted to kiss him again? To crawl under his blanket? To hug him, so warm, while he slept? To lie like that for a little while? But then Naruto would definitely wake up. No, just a kiss, light, just touch his lips with my lips and that's it, and roll away. So that even if Naruto wakes up, let him think that he dreamed it. Sasuke turned around again. Naruto was still asleep. It suddenly occurred to him that he could roll over onto his back or even onto his other side at any moment, and then it would be harder to kiss him without waking him up. Sasuke, now calmer, moved closer, carefully watching for any changes on Naruto's face. He stretched carefully, stopping every centimeter to check if he was awake. Finally, afraid even that Naruto would wake up with the frantic beating of his heart, he touched his lips to Naruto's lips and immediately returned to his place. The initial joy gave way to a bitter feeling. And that's all I can do, Sasuke realized. To steal a kiss at night, when he wanted to fall asleep and wake up in his arms, repeating that, I love you. To unbutton his shirt with disobedient hands. To kiss his neck and listen to him moan hoarsely. It got worse. I wanted to cry. She was waiting for them near the classroom. Without stupid notes in the shoe drawer, without her friends pushing her in the back. Alone. She turned decisively in their direction when Sasuke and Naruto left, and her gaze rested on the Uchiha. Naruto was taken aback when he saw Sakura and almost stumbled. Can we talk? Haruno asked, turning to Sasuke. She immediately hesitated, blushed, but did not turn away. How Sasuke wanted to tell her to go to hell and walk past. But not in front of Naruto. In front of him, she wanted to seem all understanding. Yes. Uchiha nodded, obediently following the girl, asking Naruto at the end. Wait at the exit. Classes were over and now the school was crowded everywhere. Sakura somehow managed to find a place behind the building where there was almost no one. "What do you want?" Sasuke asked, stopping. He already knew what she needed. Now he would have to come up with another fairy tale for Naruto, who would, of course, lay down his life so that Sasuke would not sacrifice his love for him. "You know, I liked you since elementary school. I thought that childhood love would be forgotten, would pass, and you would also grow up and stop." "I'm not interested," Sasuke snapped. "I know what you want to say. You'd have to be a complete fool not to notice your loving gaze and desire to attract attention. I don't know what you wanted to achieve with this confession. I don't need you or your love. I'm fed up." Pause. For some reason, Sasuke was waiting for a reaction. "I see," Sakura said in a defeated voice. "Then, I'm sorry." Sasuke snorted, turned around and left without saying anything else. He couldn't find Naruto. Uzumaki wasn't waiting for him near the exit. He wasn't in the classroom, or in the toilet, or on the fire escape, where he couldn't be, but he checked anyway just in case. And his phone wasn't answering again. Sasuke felt like he was starting to hate Haruno even more. Naruto knew that they wouldn't find him on the roof. And he knew why Sakura had come too. He just didn't want to see them come out together, both embarrassed, standing at the school gates, and have to come up with an urgent reason to run away somewhere so as not to see them together. But what if this were to happen forever, if this were to become reality? Naruto flinched as the iron door to the roof swung open with a bang, turned around and froze. Sakura also froze in the doorway. She only had enough self-control to calmly ask Sasuke for forgiveness and wait for him to leave. She wanted to run out onto the roof and scream, because she was an idiot, because she thought that even if he didn't love her, he should still know. Because it was unfair to hide it from him, because she thought he needed it. Tears had already welled up in her eyes on the stairs, while she was running here. She thought that no one would be here, and now she stood in the doorway, out of breath, in tears, with a face covered in red spots and a swollen nose. The second time that day she had embarrassed herself like that. Seeing her in such a state, Naruto stood up, approached, not knowing what to say. Sakura did not look happy at all. And before he could ask what happened, it dawned on him, Sasuke refused. He had said back then that he would refuse. He had said back then that he loved her, but would rather give in to his best friend. It turned out that Naruto was to blame for everything again. There was half a meter left between them when the dumbfounded Sakura finally turned around, preparing to run away. Naruto caught her hand, pulled her towards himself and hugged her. Sakura could no longer hold back and finally burst into tears loudly, like a small child. As if she thought that this love would also come out with her tears. She cried for all those days when she stopped near their class, but ran away at the last moment, chickening out. She cried as if she did not want to cry about this ever again in the future. I don't even remember how it started. They were all little, all the girls were crazy about him, well, and I was too. Then it went away for everyone. But not for me. He still beckoned. With something of his own. I didn't even remember why I loved him, but it started so long ago that I can't imagine myself without this love. I thought I need to tell him. Even if he doesn't answer, I need to tell him. It will be honest. She fell silent, detachment appeared in her eyes. Waiting out another attack of tears. Naruto realized. Now they were sitting on the concrete roof of the school. He felt that his shirt was still wet from tears, but it was not unpleasant. All the time he wanted to hug her again. But he was afraid. He was ashamed. All this was happening because of him. You know. I don't know why Sasuke told you that. He's always been good to you. Sakura shook her head. Just don't lie. Everything is fine. I'll survive. I'm just scared. If I loved him for so many years, will it go away now? He could have told her everything. Or said, he really loves you, it's just. But in Naruto's world, that was considered unfair. He didn't respect those who would laugh and say, she loves you, don't you get it? He thought that only someone who loved him could reveal such a secret, and that it was unfair to deprive him of the choice of whether to talk about his feelings or not. For Naruto, love was a bright feeling, and he had several principles that allowed this feeling to remain bright. And so now I didn't know what to say. Most of all, I wanted to hug her like an old friend, and, as if lulling her, rocking slightly, repeat. Silly. Silly, silly girl. Silly, beloved girl. Sai was right, he thought. It's love. But there's no desire to pounce or try to kiss. How can you harm your loved one? Just hug. That's all, nothing more is needed. Naruto called him when it was already dark outside. On his cell phone, not his home phone. I'm near your house. Come out for a couple of minutes. His heart started pounding wildly even when Naruto appeared on the phone screen. Sasuke didn't even think about what exactly his friend needed. He quickly slipped out into the street, throwing on a windbreaker. Naruto stood, warming his hands in the pockets of his orange hoodie. At the sight of Sasuke, he quickly turned around, something frozen in his eyes, sad, exhausted. The Uchiha was distracted, trying to understand what it was. He missed the blow such that he almost fell, but managed to grab onto a ledge on the wall. What's this news? Sasuke asked, rubbing his cheekbone and frowning. Naruto put his hands in his pockets again, shrugged, and calmly replied. For Sakura. Sasuke gritted his teeth to keep his anger from showing. He was furious. He could now say for sure that he hated this girl. This is your gratitude, right, Naruto? For stepping aside? I don't need this. Neither your sacrifice nor hers. She loves you. I'll survive. But you shouldn't have made her cry. People shouldn't be treated like that, Sasuke. It's not fair. What do you know in your ideal world? Do you even understand that it has to be this way and no other way? It's like if a blade was driven into you. You have to pull it out right away, otherwise it will start to rot inside you, kill you. It had to be done in such a way that she would understand, so that she would hate. So that she would cry and then come to you. Naruto was silent for a while, biting his lips. Then he straightened up abruptly. Oh shit. Sorry. She just came to the roof. I was sitting there, saw her crying. It confused me. Sorry, Sasuke. I just realized that it hurts you too. If you want, hit me too. And we'll forget. And we'll be even. He must have cried too, Naruto thought. He knows how to hide his emotions. In a beautiful fairy tale or some pulp novel, the Uchiha would have decided that you can't raise your hand against someone you love. This thought flashed through Sasuke's mind as he straightened up and struck with full force. I hit because it was the only way I could touch. Naruto stayed on his feet and even tried to smile after that. You're an idiot, Sasuke said good-naturedly. And again he couldn't add, I love, to that out loud. He dreamed of his room. His bed, his blanket and pillows. And Naruto was his in this dream too. He caught his fingers with his lips, asking worriedly, What about your parents? They left. Sasuke answered, although in the dream he did not even ask himself where. He was much more worried about Naruto's hot body, from which he was already tearing off his pajama shirt. And for some reason he still whispered, Quiet, they will hear. And who will hear? He did not know, but he wanted to hide him. He did not want to share him with anyone. So warm, kind, honest. Sasuke woke up abruptly in his own bed, the same pillows and blanket, but Naruto wasn't there. Maybe it's for the best, he thought, trying to get out from under the blanket without getting the sheets dirty. It was still dark outside. He needed to go down to the bathroom and wash his pants and underwear while everyone was asleep. If Sasuke could choose, he would prefer never to love. Especially Naruto. He believed that love made an idiot out of him. Made him go crazy over any reason, make up some fairy tale about Sakura, wash his underwear in the middle of the night. He quietly returned to his room, lay down under the blanket again, and checked to see if he had accidentally soiled it. He remembered the fight. Not fair, Naruto had said. Of course, it wasn't fair when you wanted to caress, and the only physical contact that wouldn't raise suspicion was a blow. Something had to happen, Sasuke knew. This Sakura. And his love didn't want to stand still, it wanted to evolve, to possess, to master more and more new spaces. Sasuke felt how it was growing inside him, and he knew that if it didn't find an outlet soon, this feeling would simply tear him apart. The problem was that Naruto wasn't supposed to notice anything. Naruto wasn't thinking about Sasuke that night. He was thinking about a strong girl who didn't love him. equals 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 chapter 3 equals 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 equals. Naruto looked worried. His nervousness was gradually being transmitted to Sasuke. The Uchiha didn't know what to think. Either Sai had finally cracked, or Uzumaki had other problems, or Sakura was now bothering him. The only chance to talk was during lunch. They stayed in the classroom. Naruto, sitting on the other side of the table, thoughtfully examined Sasuke's bento box, gnawing on the tips of his chopsticks. The Uchiha had already realized that Naruto was thinking about something completely different from what he could steal from this assortment. Sasuke picked up a piece of sausage with his chopsticks, pointed it towards Uzumaki, and coming to his senses in time, poked him in the cheek. "It hurts," Naruto complained, wiping himself off. "You haven't been yourself all day," Sasuke responded coldly, not removing his chopsticks in the hope that Naruto would still eat the offered piece. "That noticeable?" Naruto asked, glancing at the bento box, then at the sausage next to his cheek, considering that this was exactly what he would choose, and then eating what was offered. "I've known you for so many years. The others might not have noticed. But I can see that something is wrong." Sasuke was barely fighting the urge to grab another piece and offer it to Naruto again. He pretended to grab a little bit of rice and kept the chopsticks in his mouth, remembering where they had just returned from. "I just can't figure out what it is. Will you tell me, or is it none of my business?" "It's not that it's not yours. It's just probably unfair to discuss it." "Are you in love or something, Uzumaki?" Sasuke asked, biting the tip of his stick until it crunched, trying to suppress the feeling of fear within himself. "No, but I think they fell in love with me." Sasuke lost control of his emotions for a second and fear broke through his face. Fortunately, it could be mistaken for surprise. The Uchiha was in a panic. If Naruto had meant someone else, he would have said, "Sai is in love with me," and not expressed himself in riddles. "Who?" Sasuke swallowed. Naruto looked away, and the Uchiha almost thought he heard. "You." "I'm not sure. It's just that every time I look at her, she blushes and turns away. And when I try to talk to her, she almost faints. And her friends whisper to her and look at me. She's in our class. Hyuga." Yes, Sasuke remembered this girl, oddly enough. "And where did they all come from?" "Sai, then this one. I lived for 16 years, no one needed me. As soon as I fell in love, these guys came along. I feel uneasy. What if she decides to confess?" "I don't love her, I can't answer," Naruto continued. Sasuke even felt a weight lifted from his heart. Uzumaki, however, did not let him rejoice for long. "But Sakura loves you. She loves you very much. I have no chance here. And Hinata is a very nice girl." "You're not going to play with her feelings, are you?" Sasuke said. "No, of course not. But that's what people do. They start dating, and if they feel good with each other, there might even be kissing, and it might go further." "Yes, but it is assumed that both love." Initially, Sasuke's thoughts were already confused. It was difficult to say anything adequate. Naruto hung his head. He either felt sad or ashamed of his behavior. The small envelope was in the shoe drawer at the end of the day. Sasuke thought it was from Sai at first, but the letter was sealed with a heart-shaped sticker. Naruto glanced over his shoulder and advised, "Don't do anything stupid. And don't make Sakura cry again. I won't forgive you if you start dating another girl." How Sasuke wished those words had a different meaning. The envelope smelled of perfume so strongly that there was no doubt that it had been sprayed on purpose. Uchiha winced. "If this is Sai making fun of me, I'll kill him," Sasuke thought and took out the letter. A very ordinary love letter, and even signed. After briefly running his eyes over the text and wincing again when he saw the signature, Sasuke threw the letter and the envelope into the trash. "What are you doing?" Naruto was indignant. "I'm taking care of Sakura's feelings. Something always has to be sacrificed, Naruto." Of course, Sasuke wanted to be noble in front of Uzumaki, but not so much as to carry around a saccharine letter that smelled like a whole bottle of cheap perfume. Spring. 16 years old, the right age. To fall in love, to worry, Itachi shrugged. "That girl. Naruto won't answer you. Why do you turn girls down so quickly? What's worth trying?" How can you not understand that I'm not interested in girls? Sasuke snapped. It's the same as dating a guy for you. I'll be upset. What kind of tenderness is there? And what the hell is it for? I'll live like this. Look, Sasuke. You'll be alone. Itachi shook his head. I won't stay. Naruto will always be there. Until he finds out about your feelings. And then he will be there too. Naruto is not one of those who will betray. Itachi simply shook his head. What does he even know? Sasuke mentally snapped and promised himself not to talk about this with his brother anymore. Karen didn't limit herself to the letter. She waited for Sasuke at the entrance to the school in the morning. Uchiha gestured for Naruto to go further. Uzumaki nodded and headed to class. We need to talk, Karen said immediately. Without witnesses. Sasuke nodded. After all, Sakura had shown him a good, deserted place. Finding herself alone with the Uchiha, Karen grew bolder, theatrically lowered her eyelashes, and bit her painted nail. That letter yesterday, she began in a languid voice. Sasuke was disgusted by such a concert. He interrupted immediately. How many times do I have to tell you all? I'm not interested. What? Karen was surprised. Sasuke, do you already have a girlfriend? Sasuke always knew how to act quickly and according to the situation, so now, smiling, he answered. No, Karen. I'm gay. I'm not interested in you. I don't have a girlfriend, I have a boyfriend. Naruto and I have been dating for a month. That's great, Sasuke thought happily. Spread this all over the school. Do what you women do best, gossip. And let no one bother Naruto anymore, he's busy. That Karen had lived up to his expectations, Sasuke realized by the end of the day, seeing Hinata crying, surrounded by her cackling friends. And eyes, most of the most varied eyes, were focused on them. Something's going on. Naruto noticed too. It was hard not to notice. Yes. Sasuke nodded, assessing the results. He was pleased. I just don't understand what exactly, but I can guess whose handiwork this is. Naruto was very surprised when, about a couple of hours after classes ended, Sakura appeared on the threshold of his apartment. Do you know where I live? Naruto asked, still standing in the doorway. I'm the headman, remember? I looked in the journal. I really needed to talk to you. I'm home alone now. Are you sure you want to be alone with the guy? Come on, Uzumaki, I know enough about people to know which guys are safe to be alone with. I don't think it's safe with anyone. Naruto frowned. He didn't want Sakura to get into trouble because of her blind faith. But since you trust me so much, I can't let you down. And he stepped aside, letting him pass. Where are your parents? Sakura asked, taking off her shoes. At work. Naruto lied. He went into the kitchen and put the kettle on, trying not to think about the fact that they were alone here. After all, Sakura loved Sasuke, and he loved her. Naruto was always a mess. He didn't care before. Now he was trying to push a pile of trash behind the stove without Sakura noticing. The girl sat down at the table, noting to herself how sticky it was, but said nothing about it. She had more important things to do. Uzumaki, maybe I'm butting in where it's none of my business. But I don't think it's true. There's a rumor going around the school. It might be unpleasant, but you should know. They're saying at school that you and Sasuke are dating. Naruto dropped the cup. It didn't break, but the handle broke off. It's not true. Who could say such a thing? And remembered the girl at the gate in the morning. He closed his eyes and sat down on the chair opposite Sakura. His head was buzzing. It's mean. You're not lying, are you? Sakura asked hopefully. You really are just friends. Yes, Naruto said, looking into her eyes. And I know who could have arranged all this. Sasuke apparently refused her, and she started such a rumor to get revenge. Should have been angry. It didn't work. Now Sasuke could be in trouble. What if his parents find out? What if they don't believe him? Karen? You're talking about her, right? Sakura perked up. I don't know. She seems to be from a parallel class. She wears glasses. Yes, it looks like she is. Sakura breathed a sigh of relief. Don't worry. I'll explain the situation at school tomorrow. Everything will be fine. Sakura, you. Naruto smiled. Acted honestly. Instead of believing rumors, you came and asked yourself, even knowing that it could hurt you. Haruno hesitated, blushed, and looked down at the table. A kettle was boiling on the stove, but Naruto had forgotten to add water. This Karen. She spread a rumor that well, you know. Naruto opened his locker, started to take off his dirty t-shirt. This time Sasuke decided to stay and watch it. Yes, I suspected it yesterday. Sasuke lied. He liked it. Most people believed it. And most importantly, Hyuga was among that majority. Well. Not only did she decide to screw you over with the girls, she also wanted to jeopardize our friendship. Naruto was angry. He was already untying the lace on his sweatpants when he suddenly froze, catching Sasuke's eye. Hey, what's wrong? Uzumaki was taken aback and even stopped undressing. Sasuke came to his senses. Sorry, I was lost in thought. I'll wait for you outside, and went out, picking up his backpack from the floor. He immediately went up to the second floor to the men's room, threw the backpack under the sink there and, turning on the cold water, washed his face. And he couldn't help but smile, looking at his reflection. Naruto wasn't particularly surprised when the door to the locker room opened, although it was the last class. They could have come early from one of the sports clubs to change. However, his intuition told him that everything was not that simple, so Naruto closed the locker, turned around, and buttoned up his shirt at the same time. The guys standing by the door were in no hurry to change or go deeper into the locker room, finally convincing Uzumaki that something was wrong. Naruto thought about the fact that there were 3 of them and they controlled the door. It was not easy to deal with this. Although it was possible to take a risk, he already understood that he had fallen into a trap. There are rumors that you are one of them. The central one began in a demonstratively casual tone. Rumors. Where is the evidence? How is your pretty face not proof? The guy grinned. Naruto realized that the guys were ready to fight, so there was no point in talking to them. Hold the door. The central one ordered, moving deeper into the locker room. The left one followed him. Naruto thought that it would be easier to deal with too. Sasuke was just going down to the locker room again when he heard a loud noise of someone hitting an empty iron locker. Without even thinking about what could be going on there, he broke into a run, almost crashing into the door. It gave way, but then slammed back shut as if someone was holding it. Without wasting any time, he took a half step back, kicked as hard as he could, and clinging to the opening with his hands, risking pinching his fingers, he opened the locker room. Are you nuts? The guy at the door asked, rubbing his bruised shoulder, but immediately recognizing Uchiha, he backed away. Sasuke simply pushed him away, going further into the locker room. Naruto stood, leaning his back against a row of lockers, wiping the blood gushing from his nose with the sleeve of his white school shirt. Seeing Uchiha, he nodded, although Sasuke expected a smile. His opponents, also pretty beaten, were in no hurry to get up, especially since reinforcements had appeared. Naruto, not intending to finish off the ones lying down, took his backpack and left, grabbing Sasuke by the shoulder along the way and dragging him along until he decided to intervene. What did they need? Uchiha asked closer to the exit of the building, while there was still a chance to return. How should I know? There are plenty of idiots in the world. Naruto snapped. Is it because of those rumors? Sasuke asked. No, damn, they didn't like my cute face. Let go, I'll come back. Uchiha tried to break free. What? I think they've had enough of me already. The passers-by recoiled, and then Naruto remembered his broken nose and tried to wipe away the blood again. You need to go to the medical center, Sasuke reminded. No one has ever died from a nosebleed. Naruto waved it off. Don't be a child. Ever heard the story about a guy who got hit in the head in a fight, went home, went to bed and never woke up? Sasuke was shaking. He was scared. He didn't want to lose Naruto like that. Nonsense. Uzumaki waved it off. The only thing I needed was someone wiping my snot. Do you have a first aid kit at home? Sasuke made a last attempt. Yes, Naruto answered reluctantly. In addition to his broken nose, there was a bruise growing on his cheekbone. Naruto took off his shirt, leaving him in the white t-shirt he always wore underneath. Does your head hurt? Do you feel dizzy? Do you feel sick? Sasuke asked, throwing away the blood-soaked cotton wool. "I don't have a concussion. Leave me alone already," Naruto replied good-naturedly. "And in general? Does it hurt? Maybe I should look for some painkillers?" "You act like my girlfriend," Naruto muttered without a second thought. Uchiha felt sad. If he really were a girl, and especially Naruto's girlfriend, it would be different. There would be stupid dreams about a wedding dress, chatting on the phone with girlfriends. There would be such a strong and kind Naruto who would not betray and who would sometimes only say about the future. "Why do we need so many children? 2 is enough for us." Sasuke had been periodically regretting for a month that he was born a boy. He couldn't imagine Naruto as a girl. Behind the wall, the neighbors were arguing again, a young couple. It was so audible that Sasuke could make out some of the words. "At least they're not fucking again," Naruto muttered, putting away the first aid kit. This brought Sasuke back from his daydreams. "When can I come and spend the night?" "Well, let's do it on Friday. And on Saturday after breakfast we'll go somewhere. I don't want to sit at home on the weekend. The only food I have is ramen. I'll ask my mom to cook something." "Naruto, is it okay that I'll come?" "Sasuke," Naruto pursed his lips, "these rumors did not affect our friendship in any way. You were unlucky with the girl, she turned out to be so mean. But I don't care what they say. If I said you can come spend the night, then you can." Naruto was approached again before class, this time by his classmates, to say that those who beat him up were actually backward homophobes, and that they respected his and Sasuke's choice and did not consider them moral monsters. Naruto listened to all of this silently, then picked up his jaw and kicked them out of the classroom, even though their class was supposed to start now. Naruto endured. It seemed to him that this was a sacrifice in the name of friendship. He did not know that he owed these rumors not at all to female meanness. Sasuke wasn't in the classroom. He found a note in his desk and, throwing out, "I'll be back soon," left the classroom. Saya was also suspiciously absent. "I would gladly punch you in the face, but now they'll say I did it because you're gay." Sai looked very angry, and the Uchiha's smugness only added to his anger. "Are you jealous?" Sasuke shrugged, not hiding his smile. "Naruto has problems because of you. You're not even dating yet, and he already has problems. That's what I was talking about. You'll make a real mess of his life if you get to him. You'll tie him to yourself. And he's kind, he'll indulge you, as long as you're happy. Sai, let's be honest, do you really think I care? He was beaten because of you. It was an unpleasant sting, and I barely managed to maintain the same smug expression on my face. But he is still my friend. He just doesn't know the truth." "Then why haven't you told him yet, huh, Sai?" "Because Naruto will feel worse if he finds out." "No," Sasuke shook his head. "Because you're afraid he'll reciprocate. You, whom he's only known for a few months, are one thing. But I'm his best friend. There's no one closer to him. So stay the best friend," Sai advised. "They're always together. Besides, yesterday Uchiha almost broke down the door to the locker room to protect him. They're such faggots." Sasuke paused, listening. The voice was unfamiliar. It was unpleasant to hear about himself, but he still thought it was worth it. They're best friends, got it? And Sasuke knew that voice. Kiba. He and Naruto got along very well, no wonder Inuzuka was sticking up for him. Yes, fucking best friends. And Uchiha feeds him with chopsticks at lunch, is that normal? They practically walk hand in hand. And yesterday Uchiha was completely out of his mind. "I'll punch you in the face right now. Will you also say that I fell in love with Naruto?" Sasuke thought that the only thing missing was Kiba in love with Naruto. He finally walked out calmly, putting his hands in his pockets, and walked past the silent guys without even looking in their direction. If it weren't for his pride, Sasuke would have admitted that this had indeed gone too far. He told himself that it was worth it, but it was still disgusting to hear such a conversation. If Naruto was straight, then Sasuke was definitely gay, and what's more, he really was in love with his best friend. In fact, now he was simply hearing the truth about himself. Another time Sakura called late in the evening and immediately apologized. "Sorry it's so late. Didn't I wake you?" "No, I don't usually go to bed that early," Naruto replied. He was just glad to hear from her, regardless of the reason she had decided to call. I asked. Karen claims that Sasuke told her about it himself. That's why they believe her. But people are already starting to understand that this is nonsense, so it will end soon. But we'll have to endure it for a week or two. Thank you? Sakura, why are you helping me? I mean, there's Sasuke. Why didn't you come to him? Why didn't you call him? Are you afraid of him? Sakura on the other end of the line sighed. You could say that. It's easier for me to communicate through you, because I don't love you. Because when I see you or hear your voice, my heart won't clench so painfully. That means I'll be able to talk to you adequately. And you won't decide that I need something from you and that I'm helping you to look better in your eyes. I've already thought about that. And about coming to Sasuke, but he wouldn't accept my help. Yes, Naruto thought. Proud. Independent. This. I don't love you. Said so sincerely and so frivolously, cut me deeply. In one breath I gathered the courage to ask. Sakura, maybe we can go for a walk together sometime? Together? With Sasuke? Sorry, but I won't feel comfortable in his company. Better this way, out of sight, out of mind. Thank you for trying to help. Good night, Uzumaki. I wanted to ask. And without Sasuke? But all my courage was spent on the question itself. And Sakura would have suspected something then. And it would have been unfair to Sasuke. Naruto was squeezed by circumstances from all sides. He promised himself to tell Sasuke everything tomorrow. They say you got beat up? Sakura asked in a caring tone in the morning. Naruto, without taking his hands out of his pockets, smiled broadly. They were going to, but I managed on my own, even though there were 3 of them. Traces of this cope were already on Naruto's face, but Haruno pretended to believe him, smiling in response. Sasuke deliberately casually pushed Sakura aside as he walked past them into the classroom, and without turning around he called out. Let's go, the lesson is about to start. Haruno looked like a kicked puppy, which only made Sasuke even more angry. It was annoying how Naruto smiled at her, and he was lucky that Sakura didn't notice this flirting. Haruno, from his point of view, having failed to get the Uchiha, immediately switched to his more accessible friend. And Naruto was happy. Sasuke was almost ready to agree to start dating her, if only she would stay away from Uzumaki. It seems like it really has started to decline, Naruto said on the way home, kicking the stones that came his way. You mean the rumors? Sasuke shrugged. Yes, Naruto was right, but the story still didn't disappear without a trace. Overall, the Uchiha was pleased. Yes. You know, that girl I was telling you about. Hyuga. She finally confessed. Sasuke's heart sank. I was thinking, Naruto continued, maybe I should agree? She's a nice girl. And you wouldn't worry about Sakura. Naruto, stop talking nonsense, Uchiha got angry. I don't recognize you. You're not like that. Are you hoping that love will come with time? But it's not a feeling that can be grown artificially. Yeah, but then you can be with Sakura. Naruto shrugged. I don't need this. Sasuke stopped, turned around, almost slamming Naruto into a concrete fence. He realized that he had gone too far, and wanted to move away, when, looking into his eyes, Uzumaki spoke quietly. Hyuga didn't say anything, I lied. Why? Uchiha didn't understand. He became scared. Naruto had never lied before. Uzumaki sighed, not looking away. So it's true, Sasuke? Do you love me? Uchiha counted his heartbeats. He couldn't look him in the eyes, and for the first time in his life he regretted that he wasn't a hero of a tabloid novel, and after Naruto's honest answer he wouldn't throw himself on his neck, wouldn't start kissing him, repeating, I've been, for a long time too. He wanted to lie, but instead, on an exhale, with the 3rd heartbeat he said, Yes. Naruto froze, now his heart started beating 3 times. The first one brought a warm, incomparable feeling of his own exclusivity and importance, so much so that he was even loved. The second hit brought fear. He realized that he was standing against a concrete wall, pressing his back against it, that Sasuke was hanging over him and might not allow him to try to move away, returning the distance. And only on the 3rd heartbeat did the realization come. His best friend loved him. Something inside collapsed. Sasuke waited, but no one was in a hurry to throw themselves on his neck with reciprocal confessions. However, no one was in a hurry to push him away either. He just looked into his eyes. The Uchiha thought about how pleasant this uncertainty was, when there was still hope that Naruto would look away, and promised to think about it at his leisure. The realist in Sasuke knew the truth and was not surprised when Naruto quietly asked, "Move away." He could have pressed him against that very wall, touched his temple or earlobe with his lips, and asked if Uzumaki was sure he should move away. He would get punched in the face for it, but still, touch him. Just like he had always dreamed of. Instead, Sasuke obediently moved away, taking 2 steps back, watching as Naruto's sense of safety returned. "Why did you ask?" Sasuke asked coldly. "To know if I'm worth fearing? Does that make you feel any better, Naruto?" "Maybe not easier," Uzumaki responded, still holding on to the wall and not in a hurry to move away from it. "But at least it's honest." There was a pause of 1 heartbeat, and Sasuke laughed, although it sounded more like something nervous, painful, crazy. Chapter 4 Sasuke was even surprised when he left the house in the morning and found Naruto waiting for him at the gate. Uzumaki smiled and waved. "I thought you would stay as far away from me as possible now." Sasuke frowned. "Why not?" "As long as you don't try to get into my pants, we'll still be friends," Naruto shrugged, continuing to smile. "What will happen if I try?" Sasuke asked, but immediately slapped the frightened Naruto on the shoulder. "I'm just kidding. I see you're in a great mood. Were you afraid we wouldn't be friends anymore?" Sasuke shrugged. Naruto didn't need to be told that he couldn't sleep for half the night, thinking about what would happen. And in the morning, first he woke up with a nagging feeling that something had ended yesterday, and then the memory of having confessed. And Sasuke knew for sure that Naruto couldn't sleep either. "Just tell me," looking around, already closer to the school, Uzumaki began. "Did you spread these rumors?" "Of course not," Sasuke lied calmly. "Although it's true, I don't particularly like it when some scumbags call me a faggot behind my back. And you suffered because of it." "It's funny," Naruto smiled. "And I guessed it mainly because of this. When Sakura said that the source of the rumors, according to Karen, was you, then I started remembering how you look, how you change, how you care. Sasuke, I'm sorry that it's turning out this way. And I was stupid yesterday too. When a girl confesses, you either have to apologize and refuse right away, or ask for time. I'm sorry, but I can't share your feelings, you understand. If you want, I'll pretend that nothing happened. We'll continue to be friends." "Okay," Sasuke agreed. "Let's be friends. So, is it okay if I come over for a sleepover on Friday?" "Of course." "I promise," Naruto agreed, but the smile became less natural. Something bad still stirred in his soul, but his principles won. And he didn't want to change his attitude towards Sasuke. "I don't think Sasuke likes us hanging out. It's like he hates me," Sakura complained during home economics class. It so happened that she was put on a team with Naruto, and Uchiha was put on a completely different team. "I'll talk to him." Naruto, wearing an apron, no longer looked like a tomboy. "No need. You'll only make it worse. You can't force a person to like someone they don't like. No matter. It's better this way. It's better when there are no chances left. It's too painful to hope." "Yeah. I think you're right," Naruto agreed. He only now realized that if Sasuke didn't love Sakura, then there was no need to worry about him. That meant Sakura was right to try to forget him. "Uzumaki, you know how to cook?" Haruno admired Naruto's skill. He blushed and almost cut his finger, distracted. "Yes. I was alone, often alone. I can cook, I'm just often too lazy." "Great. How lucky your girlfriend will be." "It's disgusting to even look at." Sasuke stood behind her. Although Naruto, who had cut himself from the surprise, could have sworn that a second ago he had been with his team a few tables away from them. "Hey!" Uzumaki called out warningly. Sakura turned around, met his icy gaze, and ran out of the office to keep from crying. "Haruno, what's wrong?" Iruka-sensei called out, catching himself too late. "Sensei, she has a nosebleed," Naruto interceded. Turning around, he sent Sasuke a murderous look. Listen, stop offending Sakura-chan, Naruto asked at lunchtime. HM? Already? Sakura-chan. Does she know about it? Sasuke raised an eyebrow. This time, we went to the cafeteria for lunch. She loves you, do you understand? That's why no one can hurt her more than you. Be more gentle, or else you'll wipe your feet on her love. Pfft, Sasuke chuckled. Why should I be more lenient to those who love me? You asked me if I needed her love? If I loved her, that would be a different matter. But let me treat people the way they deserve, without making allowances for other people's feelings. And why did she displease you so much, besides her feelings? She is a girl. Oh yes, a compelling argument. If she couldn't get me hooked, she switched to you. She's not like that. Naruto was seriously offended. Yes? Then why did she suddenly start communicating with you so much? Because I wanted to help, but I was afraid to come to you, because you would say that she was trying to look good in your eyes. Sasuke, I'm glad that we started communicating. I like her. Yes, please. She pisses me off. Sasuke stood up and left without waiting for Naruto to finish eating. That very Friday, when it was possible to come to Naruto for a sleepover, Sasuke dropped by the house after classes to put his notes and pick up his pajamas and the dinner his mother had prepared for him and Naruto. Itachi waited in his room as if he were playing the role of a villain in a secret agent movie. The only thing missing was a cat in his arms. Did you tell him? Itachi asked in a cold tone. No, Sasuke lied, taking the notebooks out of his backpack and putting them away in the desk. So you're hoping for something tonight? No, I'm just going to spend the night at my best friend's. Are you afraid that I'll try to rape him and they'll put me in jail? I don't see any other reason for you to interfere in my life like that. And you don't consider the possibility that I'm just worried? I don't have such options. Are you still wondering where you went wrong? No. Now I'm thinking about how I can help you. In what? To find a girl? Sasuke shrugged. No. We need to sort this situation out. And how? Having packed his backpack for the night, Sasuke leaned against the desk, folding his arms across his chest. We both know you have no chance with him. Judging by the intonation, this was only the beginning of a boring lecture, so Sasuke, not intending to listen, picked up his backpack and left the room. Wow, this is more than a bento, Naruto said admiringly, hovering over the box and twirling his chopsticks in his hands. Of course. She cooked for two. And it seems, in the hope that she would stay for breakfast, Sasuke, who was used to this, did not show enthusiasm, but still smiled. He was glad that such a trifle made Naruto happy. Cool. Maybe we should put all this somewhere instead of eating it straight out of the box. Naruto looked around for a clean dish and found none. What difference does it make? Come on, get going while it's still hot. Naruto ate with a contented purr like a cat. Sasuke watched more than he ate. He thought about Naruto and this lonely-smelling apartment, which had only one room and a small kitchen. Naruto, however, didn't need anything else. He always looked quite contented and happy. Is he on his journey again? Sasuke asked, putting his chopsticks down after eating. Uh-huh, Naruto replied with his mouth full. He's collecting information for his book again. That's what he calls it. Well, he writes porn, so it's all fair. If they come to check, he could lose his guardianship. I'm already 16. There's no point in sending me to an orphanage. And I take great care of myself. I can negotiate if necessary. Then I'll finish school, get into college. I'll live in a dormitory. They definitely won't show up there to check. I thought he promised his father to take care of you. He does take care of me. He sends money. If I need something, I can call him and say that I have unplanned expenses this month. He'll grumble, but he'll send it. Sometimes I wondered, why, left to your own devices, didn't you grow into something antisocial? Maybe because I don't want to dishonor their memory? Naruto suggested, putting his chopsticks aside. He had eaten his fill, too. And everything my father taught me is still important to me. I want to grow up worthy. The photo of Naruto with his parents, sitting on his mother's lap, was the only one in the house that had a frame. Naruto treasured it. The neighbors, if they were home at all, were quiet today. Sasuke thought about how nice it was to have dinner with Naruto at his place. He thought that if they were dating and lived together, every evening would be like this. Warm, cozy, and homey, but not like with his parents, but like with his loved one. And Naruto wouldn't be so lonely anymore. Sasuke thought that no Sakura would give this Uzumaki a sense of peace and comfort. She would not protect him from the ghosts of the past, and would not be able to support him. He thought that if Naruto had to date someone, then he, Sasuke, was the best fit for this, because he was the closest. He knew Uzumaki better than anyone. Naruto slept on a futon that was put away in the closet during the day, so he simply laid out another one for Sasuke next to his own. When they laid down and turned off the light, they were not ready to sleep yet. Naruto wanted to talk. The Uchiha simply listened, looking at the ceiling. An hour later, Naruto realized that he was falling asleep. "Let's go to sleep," he yawned. Sasuke nodded, but instead of wrapping himself in the blanket and closing his eyes, he moved closer. Naruto backed away. Sleep had vanished. For some reason there was no doubt about the Uchiha's intentions. "Hey!" Naruto called out warningly. "That's not why I invited you." "I know," Sasuke nodded. "But, have you ever wanted to try? Sakura won't let you near her anyway." "No. I don't think I'll like it." Naruto tried to choose his words carefully. The Uchiha grinned, threw off the blanket, moved closer, and hung over his friend. Naruto froze. Now, as if meeting a predator, he was afraid to make any sudden movements. "How do you know you won't like it if you haven't tried it?" "You don't have to try it to know that I won't like someone else's dick in my ass." Naruto knew his nerves were starting to get the better of him. "Really?" Sasuke grinned. Such directness only fueled him. It seemed unachievable. If he thought about it alone, sitting at home or in class during a lesson, he wouldn't even allow himself such thoughts. But not now, when Naruto was here, and it seemed that he should be more persistent, and he would simply give in, and then forgive they were friends after all. Sasuke leaned down to brush his lips against Naruto's neck, to let him feel how good it could feel. At that moment, Uzumaki pushed him away so that Sasuke landed on his butt on the floor. Naruto grabbed the blanket with him, went into the bathroom and locked himself in there. Uchiha crawled back onto the futon, frowning. Naruto sat on the bathroom floor for a while, wrapped in a blanket. The last thing he wanted was to go back. Sasuke wouldn't calm down. Talking to him wasn't working, and he didn't want to hit him. Naruto wrapped himself in a blanket and settled down on the floor of the small bathroom. Half an hour later, he fell asleep even in such an uncomfortable place. Sasuke couldn't fall asleep. Naruto woke up in complete darkness and at first didn't understand what had happened. He couldn't see anything at all, but it wasn't night either. Raising himself up, tangled in the blanket, Naruto remembered. "Yes, I slept in the bathroom. Sasuke is also spending the night with me. I wonder if he's awake yet?" The night terrors had gone somewhere. He walked out of the bathroom, threw the blanket on the empty futon. Sasuke was sitting in the kitchen with a cup of cold coffee. "Good morning," he greeted. "Good." Naruto nodded, sitting down opposite him. The sink was no longer cluttered with dirty dishes. They were placed on shelves in the kitchen cabinet. "Sasuke, I seriously want to remain your friend. It's not about you. It's about me being a guy, really. Well, I'm not that kind of guy." "It's okay, I understand." Sasuke calmly sipped his cold coffee. Naruto frowned. He had said last night that he understood, but he still kept pestering. "Sasuke, I'm serious. I told you that we're friends as long as you don't get into my pants." "I'm serious too. I'm ashamed of what happened last night. And for the fact that you had to spend the night in the bathroom in your own apartment." Uchiha's tone remained cold. Naruto thought that perhaps his friend had actually realized everything. "I would like to go to the cinema. Then have a bite to eat somewhere and go to the park. There are ducks in the park near my house." "You're just like a child," Sasuke sighed. "Of course. It's hard to drag you out of the house, and I haven't gone for a walk in ages, only to school and back. You have to stay home in the winter, when it's cold. It's just that crowds have a somewhat depressing effect on me." "What's so depressing?" "They don't know you, and you don't know them either." Naruto swung his legs, sitting on a bench at the bus stop. According to the schedule, the bus was supposed to arrive in about 5 minutes. The weather was sunny, just right for walking. It was on days like these that people were everywhere. Even at this bus stop there were already 6 people besides them. Sasuke sometimes felt like there were too many people in this world. Besides, the last thing he wanted to do right now was go somewhere. It would be better to stay with Naruto, at home, alone. However, he himself knew that he could lose it again, and tried to pin Uzumaki against the wall, or throw him to the floor. So it was safer for both of them to go somewhere. Besides, except for the fact that you can hold hands and the day won't end with at least a kiss, this could be considered a date with Naruto. In the cinema, Sasuke felt like everything was back to normal. Uzumaki stole popcorn from him, which Uchiha then bought. Naruto chose a comedy from everything that was shown and sometimes supported the friendly laughter of the audience with his own. Sasuke was bored. He lost the thread of the story, because he thought more about what happened at night. He was ashamed that Naruto had to leave and lock himself in the bathroom. Sasuke thought a lot about how to fix this, and he understood that there was no way if he held Naruto, it would be violence. Then in the morning he would not be able to get rid of him so easily, and they would no longer be able to remain friends. Something was still wrong. By the middle of the movie, Sasuke realized that he didn't want everything to fall into place. Being Naruto's best friend was great, but Sasuke wanted more. He wanted to touch him, kiss him, want the Uzumaki to be his. In the end, he wanted to say, "I don't want to see you near Sakura anymore," and be sure that he would be obeyed. But Naruto couldn't even be held by the hand. "We were at a comedy, and you still look gloomy," Naruto noted, squinting from the sun, so unusual after the semi-dark hall, and finishing the rest of the popcorn. "It's because of the crowd." Uchiha almost didn't even lie. "Okay. After the cafe, to the park. There are few people there. Are you still hungry? You just ate all the popcorn by yourself. Then why did you buy it if you weren't going to eat it?" Naruto shrugged, looking around for a cafe. In the cafe, Sasuke tried not to watch Uzumaki, studying the scenery outside the window. He thought that things weren't so bad now. At least Naruto wasn't dating anyone. There was no need to see him happy with some girl and pretend to be happy for them. At some point, Sasuke realized that he would rather leave than see Naruto with another. It was too painful. It was supposed to be about wishing happiness to the one you loved. But Sasuke could admit to himself, he didn't care whether Naruto was happy or not, as long as it wasn't with him. The path to the lake with the ducks that Uzumaki wanted to see so much passed through a small grove. Naruto walked ahead, his hands in the pockets of his orange hoodie. Sasuke still looked upset. "This is unbearable," came to mind from the swarm of conflicting thoughts. To love and not be able to touch. Noticing that the footsteps behind him had faded, Naruto stopped and turned around. Sasuke was standing with his head down, his hair too long to see his expression. "Something happened?" Uzumaki returned. "Are you not feeling well? Is it still because of the people or are you sick?" Naruto bent down, trying to look Sasuke in the eyes. The Uchiha suddenly raised his head, caught Uzumaki by the arm, so unexpectedly that he recoiled. "Hey Sasuke, what's wrong?" Naruto felt scared, although he immediately pulled himself up internally. Why should he be afraid of the Uchiha? I mean, yes, of course, Sasuke loves him, but if he tries to repeat what he wanted to do last night, this time Naruto will hit him. "Naruto, can I kiss you?" Sasuke asked. Uzumaki almost laughed. He had never seen the Uchiha like this before. "No," Naruto refused with a smile, trying to free his hand. "Why? Like, first kiss. Not that it's that important to me." "Sasuke, why would I want to kiss a guy? It would look really pathetic. Girls don't kiss, so I should kiss my best friend, right? Let go of my hand, Sasuke. If I were a girl, everything would be different, right? Would I have a chance?" Uchiha tried not to look him in the eyes. Naruto swallowed, thought seriously, but did not see the answer to this question. He liked Sakura, and he and Sasuke were different not only in gender. But since the answer was ambiguous, convincing himself that he was not lying, he answered only to calm down. "Yes. Everything would be different. Just don't wear dresses now, please." Sasuke frowned, which, fortunately for Naruto, again reminded him of the more familiar Uchiha, and still let go of his hand. Naruto was grateful that at least this time Sasuke asked instead of attacking him. Uzumaki was starting to get annoyed by this. He tried his best to maintain the friendship, turning a blind eye to such displays of affection from the Uchiha, but he still ruined everything. Itachi knocked before entering. His mother said that Sasuke was unwell and had refused dinner. The older brother suspected something was wrong and knew he had hit the nail on the head as soon as he opened the door. The lights were out. "Get out of my room!" Sasuke demanded threateningly. "You didn't succeed, huh?" On the one hand, Itachi was glad realizing that his younger brother was dating a guy would not be the most pleasant circumstance. On the other hand, unlike his parents and even Naruto, he saw that Sasuke was in pain. He wanted to help, and the first thought naturally faded into the background. "I said get out," the younger boy repeated. His eyes adjusted to the darkness. Itachi could see Sasuke sitting on the bed, his knees pulled up to his face. "I want to help." "What? Drag him here and tie him to the bed? You can't do anything. It's no good worrying alone either. And I want to be alone. Leave me alone already. Get out of my room." The voice was hoarse, breaking, doomed. Itachi left, deciding that right now Sasuke really should be alone. He was returning to the first circumstance, at least his brother was not sleeping with a guy. It didn't look like a kiss, so Sasuke didn't ask for permission. He just lightly touched Naruto's cheekbone with his lips and immediately pulled away. Uzumaki stopped, turning around in confusion. "What was that?" he asked angrily. "A breeze." Sasuke shrugged calmly as he passed by. It happened on the way home, in the middle of the day, although not on the busiest street. "Mom, look, blue," said a girl of about 10 passing by on the opposite side of the street. Naruto blushed while his mother tried to take the child away, simultaneously asking how he knew such words. After that, Uzumaki caught up with Sasuke, drew level with him, turned the Uchiha to face him, intercepting the collar of his school uniform. "How much longer? Stop playing gay with me. Do you want me to start avoiding you?" "I did nothing," Sasuke said calmly, not trying to free himself. He wasn't going to make excuses either. "Sasuke, it's not nothing. At least for me. It's unpleasant for me. Do you understand? I didn't shy away from you because I was afraid of ruining our friendship, and it seems like you don't care about any of that. Don't you want to remain friends? Do you understand that I can't give you more than that? So stop. Just stop. Otherwise it will only get worse." Sasuke bumped into Sai in the school hallway. They both stopped. Both had something to say. "To be honest, I don't believe in your love at all," Sasuke began first. "And I was afraid of you in vain. You limited yourself to a confession and that's it. If you really loved him, you would have tried with all your might to achieve it. But you barely even talk. You don't have a chance." Sai calmly listened to the end without interrupting, and only after making sure that Sasuke had said everything, he calmly responded. "Maybe I just don't want to be as pathetic as you?" "Pathetic?" Sasuke asked, not yielding to him in calmness. Sai nodded. "Intrigues. Rumors. You're driving Haruno crazy just because he likes her." "Yes, I also think she's too dismissive and rude for him. Yes, if it comes down to it, I think he'd be better off with me. But I didn't make Haruno cry in his eyes or try to force him to do anything against his will. I'm afraid for him, because he still wants to maintain your friendship and therefore can't put you in your place once and for all. You know him better than anyone. So answer your own question, will Naruto Uzumaki date a guy?" Sasuke knew the answer, but he desperately kept breaking it down into probabilities and then clinging to the 10% that hypocritically claimed it would. "He won't. Even I can understand that, although I've only known him for a few months. And he won't even try. He's not one of those. You should know that even better than I do. Then why do you continue? What are you trying to achieve? They say water wears away stone. You are not water, and Naruto is not a stone, he is stronger. After all, you were not going to confess to him, so leave everything as it is. He is trying to maintain your friendship. It is important to him." "I can't do that." Sasuke shook his head. "I want him to be mine. I won't tolerate Sakura or anyone else near him." "Then you better leave right away, before you ruin his life completely." After talking with Sai, there was a strange feeling. On the one hand, Sasuke was able to tell someone this, not keep it to himself. On the other hand, he wanted understanding, not harsh words, but even his best friend would not support him on this topic. Naruto pretended that everything was fine, but he didn't steal Sasuke's bento anymore, and in general he was more careful and tense. Looking at him, Uchiha tried to find the reasons for Naruto's confidence that he would not like sleeping with a guy. And he came to the conclusion that it was his parents. The memory of them did not allow Uzumaki to grow up into a bad person. Being gay for him did not mean being a good person. His parents would never approve of it. And even if they had made concessions, he could no longer talk to them, or ask. Sasuke thought, "It's easy for me to reason, with my parents alive. If he wanted to, he confessed. If he didn't want to, he kept it a secret on his conscience. He can only guess what kind of son they would like to see." Sasuke never thought that Naruto's long-dead parents would become such a serious obstacle for him. A dead end, in fact. "I don't know anything about math, you're somehow better at it." Naruto opened his locker. There were fewer and fewer topics for conversation. It was impossible to talk about Sakura. Sasuke would start getting angry and insulting the girl, Naruto would stand up for her, and it would threaten to turn into a quarrel. Uzumaki himself did not want to discuss Sasuke's feelings. "I can try to teach you something." Uchiha shrugged. "I'll get you up to 60 points, and if you try yourself, maybe you'll even get to 80. "Oh, great," Naruto perked up. "Thanks. I'm afraid I'd fall asleep over my textbook. I'm not good at studying, I have to be constantly kicked." "You're lucky, you're almost a genius, everything comes easy to you." Sasuke simply shrugged. The monologue had been enough time for the Uchiha to change his clothes. Now, having closed the locker, he waited for Naruto, who had not yet even begun to unbutton his shirt. "Go ahead, I'll catch up." Uzumaki waved him off, smiling and busying himself with the buttons. His smile was nervous, and he started unbuttoning more for show. Another person wouldn't have noticed it, but Sasuke had known him for too long. "I'll wait." Uchiha leaned his back against the locker doors. "It's all right, you always changed in front of me." "Well, yeah," Naruto nodded without turning around. "And really, what am I?" He scolded himself, continuing. And, having already taken off his shirt, he decided that now was the time to turn around and once again advise Sasuke to go to the lesson, which had already started, alone. Naruto shuddered, finding the Uchiha behind him, and not by the boxes. "Don't do this," Naruto said distinctly, as if training a disobedient dog. His breathing was ragged. He was afraid, not even for himself, but for the friendship that had been preserved and strengthened for years, which was collapsing in just a few days. "You only have one life, there will be no other person like you, to know you from your snotty childhood, to fight with shovels in the sandbox together, to pat you on the head at your parents' funeral and say, 'They are looking down on you, they will be upset that you are crying like that.'" Sasuke had never been a trained dog and always did what was best for him. He leaned down so he could inhale the scent of Naruto's warm skin. "I don't intend to harm you or hurt you. But no one will be here for another 40 minutes. Just don't scream, or I'll have to use force. Chapter 5 Lately, Sasuke came home as a different person every time. He made new conclusions, looked at life differently. In such a short period of time, he had changed dramatically. Itachi watched. His whole world had become focused on his brother's problems. He was thinking about Sasuke's behavior at work. He was thinking about possible future developments. That day, Sasuke returned home after classes, as Itachi had expected. Without going into his room, the younger brother went straight to the bathroom. The water was making noise. Itachi became wary, and pretended to continue doing his own thing. He waited for about 15 minutes, during which he could not concentrate on anything except the sound of the water. Then he got up, went to the bathroom door and knocked. "Sasuke, are you okay there?" When there was no answer, Itachi's heart did a somersault, falling down. Without even the decency to wait another 3 minutes or knock with threats of what would happen if his brother did not open the door, he kicked the door down on the third attempt. Sakura didn't want to just give him the address. She begged to go with Sai. Naruto and Sasuke were seen going to gym, but they never showed up for class, and the locker room was a bit of a mess. Sakura was also worried, so Sai was afraid. Was she starting to fall in love with such a kind Uzumaki? He didn't want to take her with him. Firstly, it was a chance to be alone with Naruto in his apartment, and secondly, there were things that Uzumaki wouldn't say in front of her loved one. They couldn't get rid of him, but no one opened the door for them either. It was quiet in the apartment. Sai spent the rest of the evening wondering where Naruto might have gone. His imagination kept telling him to go to the Uchiha. That Sasuke was right and his persistence had finally paid off. The belief that Naruto was not like that still won out. Itachi somehow forgot that his brother was already 16, that Sasuke would soon catch up with him in height. That evening, his brother seemed to have become that little child again, the one he would pick up from school when his mother was busy. He wrapped Sasuke in his father's terrycloth robe and tied his wrists with a hand towel torn in half. The younger brother barely reacted, although Itachi expected hysterics or resistance. He took his brother to his room, closed the door in case his parents returned, sat him down in a chair and examined the cuts. The scars would remain, but they were still not deep enough. Itachi was scared. He needed to take his brother to the hospital. Who knows, maybe he would need stitches. The bleeding would not stop. He tied the towel like a tourniquet and ran for the first aid kit. When he returned, Sasuke remained in the same position, continuing to look at the floor. Itachi noticed a few bruises, not that many, but it looked like the younger brother had fought with someone. Who knows, maybe it wasn't Naruto, maybe someone found out about his orientation. Who decides things like that, Sasuke? Mom and Dad will be upset. What are you going to explain to them? You thought you'd die and get off easy. No way. You'll also lie to the doctors about how you shaved and accidentally cut yourself. Itachi understood about himself. No doctors. It was immediately clear that this was a suicide attempt. They would put his brother on a sedative and lock him up. I didn't mean to, Sasuke said, and the sound of his voice almost made Itachi flinch. What didn't you want? I didn't really think about cutting. I wanted to. I wanted blood. And for it to hurt. To cover up the pain with something. I cut, and then I realized that I had overdone it. I got scared. Look, the blood is still flowing. Then why didn't you try to stop it? If I died, Sasuke swallowed the lump in his throat. Then I wouldn't have to feel all this. It's only going to get worse. I can't stop. I'm afraid that the moment will come when it's really better to die than to feel this. He won't forgive me. He won't want to see me anymore. Itachi hugged him, although he wanted to hit him more to make him come to his senses. He whispered desperately. Stupid little brother. You can survive all this. In this world, you can survive everything. A few years will pass, this guy will be forgotten, these events will fade, you will wince that you were a fool, that you wanted to cut your veins because of him. You will meet another. And to hell with him, let him be at least another. You come on, just don't do more stupid things. So many people want to live, but they die, and you yourself are going. Sasuke, let's move. We will change schools for you. I will find a job in another city. I will rent an apartment, such that you have your own room there. I will tell your parents that this is to make it easier for you to enter college. I will enroll you in preparatory courses. Far away. You do not see and do not delirious. Sasuke tried to pull away. No. No. What if he comes back? What if he forgives? What if he still? Sasuke, that's enough. This hope will drive you to your death. And I don't want to lose you. This hope only hurts you more. It makes you pathetic. Nothing will come true, do you understand? Sasuke bit his lips, tried to say something, but couldn't. Tears welled up in his eyes, something was bubbling inside. Itachi didn't understand there would never be another like Naruto. So close and so dear. And this feeling wouldn't pass, wouldn't go anywhere. Sasuke had never been a romantic, more of a realist, but even he understood that. I understand that it hurts, Itachi continued. I understand that leaving hurts more, but Sasuke, if staying and leaving hurt equally, then you have to leave, because that's the right path, the second one leads nowhere. Leaving hurts more, but you have to leave. No. Something inside Sasuke whispered. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more near him. One more try, even if it's the last one. Or stop trying, just be near him until it becomes unbearably painful because he found himself a girl. Then I can leave, because staying near him will hurt more. What am I even thinking about? Because he won't want to see me anymore anyway. Sasuke blurted out in one breath. And folded. Shook from bouts of suppressed tears, curled into a ball in his brother's arms. He rubbed the tears from his face with a blood-soaked towel and bit his lips to keep from screaming. Just a little bit more. Naruto is kind. Naruto can forgive and come back, offering friendship again. If you live alone, then no one can protect or support you. Even when it got dark, Naruto didn't turn on the light or the TV. He pretended that he wasn't home. He didn't know that Sakura and Sai came. He was sure that it was Sasuke, who would apologize again and lie that it wouldn't happen again. Naruto didn't want to see him. Towards evening I decided to turn on the light in the bathroom to see why my neck hurt so much. I found several hickeys, cursed, and reached into the medicine cabinet for a band-aid. By the beginning of the second lesson, Naruto was convinced that Sasuke was not late. He simply would not come today. He convinced himself for a long time that he did not want to know anything, but at the beginning of the break he still grabbed the teacher by the sleeve as he was leaving the classroom to ask, "Why isn't Sasuke here today?" "He's sick." Kakashi shrugged. "You didn't know?" "No, he wasn't feeling well yesterday." Naruto lied, hesitated a little longer, and finally let go of the sleeve. Something was missing during the break. Naruto was used to having lunch with Sasuke. Alone, he began to feel so insecure, as if a public toilet had one wall missing. But during lunch, Sakura dropped by to ask if something had happened to him yesterday, and Naruto's dark thoughts immediately left him. He smiled again. Sai was waiting for him right outside the apartment. Naruto stopped, hesitating, when he saw the guest. His classmate turned around and nodded, without his usual smile. "I won't let you into the apartment," Naruto warned, not approaching. "Well, that's your right. Then where can we talk so that we are, if possible, not overheard?" "There's a park not far from here." Naruto shrugged. He said it, and something inside him ached from these words. He remembered Sasuke standing under the shade of the trees. The way Naruto had never seen him before. There weren't many people in the park on weekdays. Naruto settled down, sitting on the back of the bench, putting his feet on the seat. Sai sat like normal people on the seat of the bench. "It's hot today," he complained. "Don't you think so?" "A little," Naruto responded, looking at the lake. "Then why didn't you take off your school uniform jacket?" "Because it has a high collar?" Naruto gave him an angry look without turning his head and returned to contemplating the lake again. "Sasuke finally got what he wanted. And that's why he didn't come to school today. He's ashamed to look you in the eye," Sai finished. Naruto turned around so sharply that it seemed he would hit. "I don't want to discuss this with someone like you." Sai knew Naruto was about to leave, so he spoke quickly, desperately. "And that's why you don't want to let me into the house, even though I proved long ago that I'm safe. You're afraid. Now you feel like you're alone against the whole world. Enough already," Naruto snapped. He was silent for a few moments, after which he finished more calmly. "I told you, I don't want to. You can't keep it to yourself either. Naruto, I can understand you. I know you didn't want it. And you wouldn't have wanted it no matter what Uchiha did. So it was forced." Naruto turned around again, shooting Sai an angry look, and headed home when he heard behind him. "He actually did it? I'll kill him." Sai looked shocked. Naruto was even surprised, but then came to his senses. "What's unclear about the words?" "I don't want to talk about it." "What do you want?" Sai seemed to accept someone else's rules of the game. Uzumaki was confused again, tried not to look him in the eyes, finally saying, "I'm losing my best friend." It's hard to explain, when a lot is connected to a person in life, when he's already so close. It seems to me that this is more valuable than love. Sai waited a few seconds before speaking. "You've already lost a friend in him. And it doesn't depend on you. It's a pity, but in this situation you're just a victim of circumstances. He won't be able to be happy for you when you get a girlfriend. You can't really trust him with everything anymore. He'll suffer, and you won't be able to help him in any way. However, you can do it in the simplest way: agree to a relationship with him. This means sleeping with him, and, God forbid, with someone else. But even this won't save your friendship, it will be something else. Being a friend to someone and being their lover are completely different things. I know people like Sasuke, it's better without him than with him. He'll devour you completely and bury you in his darkness. Don't do anything stupid, Naruto. Life moves forward. If you come back again, he'll decide that you agree. And then it will be really scary. I don't care. Uzumaki shrugged. I just don't want to see him anymore. Naruto locked himself in the house again that evening and even sat down to do his homework to at least fill his head with something. Mother thinks you're sick. Don't let me down, go to bed, Itachi demanded coldly. And only now did he notice a new abrasion on Sasuke's cheekbone. What is it? Sai came by. The younger brother shrugged. Too coldly and distantly. He told me that Naruto doesn't want to see me anymore. In principle, that's what I thought, but... A treacherous tremor crept into his voice. Sasuke fell silent for a few seconds to pull himself together. Thinking and hearing confirmation are two different things. And yet it's good that I didn't hear it from him. Itachi shook his head like a compassionate mother whose child had wet the sheets again. I think you'll have to extend your sick leave. Yes, please. I'm not ready to go back yet. Without Sasuke, this world was unbearably boring. Naruto had already gotten used to having lunch with Kiba and his company, and after school he had become adept at walking Sakura home, something he would never have been able to do with the Uchiha, but his world was still missing something essential. It was the feeling of not having scrambled eggs in the morning, which he had gotten used to for so long. It was akin to a bicycle that had lost one wheel. Life stubbornly moved forward. Naruto couldn't stand it on the third day. After seeing Sakura off, he made a big detour and went to Sasuke's house. He stood there for about 10 minutes and left, not daring to knock. Sai was right. If Sasuke was forgiven again, he would decide that he could do anything. On the 5th day, when there were no traces left from the hikis on his neck, Naruto took out the photos, looking at Sasuke on them, thus making up for the lack of Uchiha in his world. It didn't help, it only became harder. Naruto felt such a sadness, as if someone had died. A week later, Uzumaki realized a terrible thing. He was starting to get used to a world without Sasuke. After all, it's not love. Sai shrugged. Soon you won't need him at all. It will. Naruto shook his head. It's more valuable than love, I told you. Kiba, Shino, Shikamaru, and Shuji were fun. Sure, you couldn't trust them enough to explain why Sasuke wasn't going to school, but it was really fun to listen to Kiba's emotional stories during lunch, sometimes encouraging him or telling him something himself. Sakura reminded him of herself. She considered Naruto a friend and therefore trusted him. Uzumaki could not betray this trust. One of those sleepless nights, Naruto came to the conclusion that he would trade this for Sasuke's return to his world. In his opinion, it would be fair. It took Naruto a while to calm down and admit to himself that he missed him. Whatever it was, he couldn't stay angry for long, and Sasuke was too close to him to cut off communication forever. By that time, a little less than a month had passed since the day they last saw each other. In the end, nothing irreparable happened. That day, a month ago, Sasuke managed to sneak up so close that Naruto only noticed him when he found him behind him. I don't intend to harm you or hurt you. But no one will be here for another 40 minutes. Just don't scream, or I'll have to use force. Sasuke's hands fell on the doors of the adjacent lockers on either side of Naruto. No matter how hard he tried, it was impossible to wriggle free without using force. Hot breath tickled his neck. You won't do that. Naruto tensed up. He didn't dare turn around. He was afraid that Sasuke would try to kiss him. Why? Sasuke hugged him with one arm, pressing his back to himself. Naruto swallowed. Because it's not fair. I can't trust you anymore, Sasuke. You don't trust anymore. Uchiha chuckled, clinging to his neck with his lips. Naruto winced. The locker was open. It was impossible to push away Sasuke. Uzumaki still hoped that Sasuke would come to his senses and stop himself. Hopes melted away proportionally to the increasing pressure on his neck. Naruto winced in pain, pushing Sasuke away so that he could at least turn to face him. Enough. However, you didn't stop right away. Uchiha closed the distance between them again. Naruto waved his hand. Maybe he wanted to make sure. I don't like it, and I'm even less willing to tolerate it. Even to please you. Were you planning to? Sasuke chuckled. If it's so unpleasant, the Uchiha leaned down to whisper the next words in his ear. Do you want me to make it so that you feel good? You've never even kissed before. How about a blowjob, Naruto? For you, Go to hell. Uzumaki snapped, placing his hand on Sasuke's chest, preventing him from getting any closer. Why do you refuse? Naruto tried not to look him in the eyes. He knew the answer. Because we're friends. But for some reason he couldn't say it out loud. It doesn't hurt, don't worry. It's very pleasant. Sasuke wanted it himself, and by persuading Naruto, he could bind him to himself with the pleasure he had experienced. After all, in the honest world of Uzumaki, you can't just use such services from your best friend. One day Naruto will decide that he should do something in return. At least not resist. I told you I don't want to. Because a guy will do it? I read somewhere that no girl can do it as well as another guy. Because a guy knows what will be more pleasant. Who else will offer it to you if not me, Naruto? Sigh. Come on, he won't stop there, you'll have to offer him your ass too. Just step away. Then I'll pretend I didn't hear any of this. You know, I'm not interested in such a proposal. There was still nowhere to run, but at the first movement in his direction, Naruto raised his head, now looking defiantly. What should have repelled Sasuke only warmed him up more. He swallowed. Naruto was so close to him that Sasuke could feel his warmth with some parts of his skin. He again stopped understanding why he couldn't do what he wanted here and now. And he broke. As if he slipped on thin ice, in a desire to save himself, he grabbed Naruto's lower back, pulled him towards himself, overcoming the resistance, biting into his lips, and began to rip off the buttons on Uzumaki's half-unbuttoned shirt. Naruto, under such pressure, fell into his own locker, finding himself squeezed by iron walls on 3 sides and the Uchiha on the 4th. He became scared, and began to shake. Naruto himself did not fully understand how he managed to do this, but when Sasuke began to untie the ties of his sweatpants, Uzumaki managed to push him away, get out of the locker himself and swinging, hit him with all his heart, thus getting rid of his fear and trembling. Sasuke touched his jaw, checking if it was broken. He looked up, meeting Naruto's gaze. Uzumaki froze for a few seconds before picking up his things and running out of the locker room. Naruto had been standing outside Sasuke's house for about half an hour. He was afraid that Uchiha might see him if he looked out the bedroom window or left the house. He didn't want to call. Sasuke might just not pick up. It took another 10 minutes to finally go up and ring the doorbell, and even then he was spurred on by the feeling that Uchiha could peek out at any minute. Sasuke's mother opened the door, froze in surprise, then stepped aside, letting him into the house. Good evening, Naruto greeted belatedly, already crossing the threshold. Good, Mikoto agreed, pointing to the couch in the living room. Naruto sat down obediently. The house was unusually quiet and seemed darker than usual. You came to see Sasuke, right? You're his best friend, right? Naruto nodded, his chest aching uncomfortably. He didn't understand why she was sitting and talking to him instead of going upstairs to call Sasuke. Yes, I spent the night at your place. About a month ago. I remember. Mikoto nodded. You and Sasuke had a fight, didn't you? Naruto felt awkward but nodded. That's what I understood, because you stopped coming to us. And Sasuke would probably have told his best friend. Said what? Naruto understood that something bad and irreparable had happened. Didn't he have any problems at school? He's a rather withdrawn child. His classmates might have thought he was arrogant, but that's not true. What happened? Naruto interrupted, already beginning to suspect something truly terrible. Sorry. Mikoto came to her senses. Itachi just took him and they moved to another city. Itachi said it would be more convenient and better for him. He said something about preparatory courses. He calls once a week, says that everything is fine with them. But I feel like something happened, they just don't want to talk about it. Something happened at school, right? I'm a mother, I should know. Naruto had never been good at communicating with other people's parents, and now he felt extremely awkward. If Sasuke didn't tell. Do you think I have the right to reveal his secret? Yes. Of course, Mikoto was now confused. You're probably right. Naruto got up to leave when Sasuke's mother caught herself. I have their address. And phone numbers. If you need them, I'll write them down. It took Uzumaki a few seconds to think about his answer. If Sasuke wanted, he would have sent me the address. Or at least said that he was leaving. For Naruto, the world was once again colored with the offensive. Unfair. The whole way home he was angry at Sasuke, for being gay, for falling in love with Naruto, for not being able to control his feelings, for leaving without saying a word, and in the end, for just being acquaintances. When I got home, I closed the front door, left alone with myself, hugged my knees with my hands and slid to the floor, crying, trying not to make noise so that no one would hear. The neighbors were arguing again behind the wall, and somewhere a TV was turned on full blast. Dusk was gathering outside the window. The world, deprived of its best friend, whom it had known since childhood, continued to hobble along awkwardly. Epilogue That day, instead of trying to skip classes, Naruto was caught by the teacher in the hallway and forced to help him with labs, which almost ended in an explosion. After that, he was left to clean the classroom. Naruto could have protested as much as he wanted or just jumped out the window, but he needed a good grade for the semester, half of which he had already skipped. So he simply left the teacher a couple of surprises in his desk and stole some notebooks with lab worksheets from last year's students with ready-made solutions. However, Uzumaki thought that the day had not been easy and decided that he deserved to skip the first half of classes tomorrow. By the third year, the fear of being expelled from the university where he had entered with such difficulty had dissipated. Naruto began to wonder more and more whether he was doing the right thing. He wanted something completely different, but it seemed that in this world there was nothing that would correspond to his desires. Later, Naruto, left alone, long and happily discussed the likelihood of them meeting even in not such a big city in such a huge world. However, the fact is Sasuke was dozing in the back seat of the bus, which Uzumaki managed to get on that day. Naruto froze and almost fell over when the bus started moving. Then he decided to sit down, turning around so that Sasuke could be seen, trying to figure out if he was mistaken, since they hadn't actually seen each other for 3 years. To dispel any remaining doubts, I had to go up to him and wake him up, lightly touching him on the shoulder and asking, "Sasuke, it's you, right?" Naruto himself suggested a small cafe not far from his dorm that he often visited. "Just think," Uzumaki rejoiced. "You didn't leave an address. I didn't know what city you were studying in, where you went. And I didn't tell you where I was going to go to school. I only chose this city myself before graduation. The only thing missing for a complete surprise was studying at the same institute." Indeed, Sasuke thought. As if they were connected by a red thread. A strange coincidence. That's unlikely. I doubt that with your brains you could enter my institute, Uchiha responded good-naturedly. That's true. Although I don't like mine anymore. I understand less and less what I forgot there, and what will come of it. You never liked studying. Sasuke allowed himself a smile. That's right. Listen, how are you? Got yourself a girlfriend? He corrected himself in a low voice. A boyfriend? It happened. Sasuke shrugged, trying to stir the ice in his glass with a straw. We broke up 6 months ago. Why? Naruto asked with interest. We didn't get along in terms of personalities. I don't like fragile people. Uzumaki paused, thinking, but then laughed, more to show that everything was okay. And you? Sasuke asked, as if keeping the topic going. No way. Naruto shrugged. What about Haruno? It didn't work out. She loved you for so many years. Whatever you think of her, she won't switch to me so quickly. He paused again before continuing. I dated Hinata. Not for long, a couple of kisses when I walked her home, nothing more. I don't love her. And I still dated her and probably would have slept with her if she hadn't been so unapproachable. Yes, of course, she's a girl. Why didn't you leave your address? You could have called. Naruto moved closer. Didn't you miss me? I miss you, Sasuke admitted, looking at the melting ice. At night he curled up into a ball. He couldn't stop thinking, remembering. Hoping that Naruto would find him himself. He scolded himself for running away. But all this was only the first year. Then came the realization that everything was right, that's how it should be, and it couldn't be any other way. Okay. Naruto came to his senses. There's no time today, and we'll see each other some other time. I'm so glad you're in this city. Looking at his smile, Sasuke swallowed, quickly pulling himself together, calling out to Naruto right at the door. We will not meet again. Uzumaki's smile faded, and his expression became somewhat offended. Why? He asked. Sasuke answered in a tone as if it was obvious. Because I still love you. Uchiha only now realized that he had never said this to Naruto before. Then everything happened by itself, but to do it like this, looking into his eyes. Thank you, Naruto said, smiling and thanking him for some reason. It just slipped out. Just gratitude for the fact that you can carry your love for him with you through the years. Sasuke winced, taking it for mockery, and was the first to leave the cafe. Naruto opened the door to shout after them. I know which bus you take, Uchiha. Sasuke didn't turn around. He got on that bus almost by accident, hoping to get some sleep and spend some time somewhere while his brother brought home another girl. But he remembered the bus number. And the rain. Through the cloak and hood. And a shiver runs through me. It's both scary and funny. And the clouds are cramped. And my head is spinning. Letter by letter, syllable by syllable. Take my words. And throw it at her feet. Tell her I love her. Without her, all life is zero. And for her, all life is equal to zero.